Okay. I think we can hear me now. I have a microphone now. Okay. I think we can hear me now. I have a microphone now. Okay. I think we can hear me now. I have a microphone now. Okay. I think we can hear me now. I have a microphone now. Okay. All right. Is there a let me know if there's any sort of echoing because echo cancellation is on Woodman. It should be better now. Hopefully it's not echoing like crazy. No echo? Perfect. Fan freaking tastic. That is good stuff. Okay. So that was rectified. I had to talk to someone on the StreamYard chat. What a shit show. So we'll get going here. People are probably like giving up at this point. They're probably like, what the hell is this guy doing? So let me just double check and make sure everything should be working though. Good, which is all right. Just want to make sure. Okay. No problem, Woodman. All right, so let me go to screen share here really quick. We'll share the screen and we'll get down to brass tacks here. Yes. Okay, and we'll go to that page. Let me know if there's any audio issues down the line or anything like that. There shouldn't be. I'm literally holding a microphone in front of my face. This is my brand new microphone I got. So hopefully it's crisp and clear. Let me know if it's too loud or too soft. I kind of have it in the middle right now. So we should be good. And I don't want to speak too closely into the microphone because I don't know if it's blasting everybody's eardrums or not. But hopefully not. Yeah, let me know if there's any how the audio sounds, Terry Woodman. So apparently, what you have to do here is actually I'll go back and stream. I'll stop screen sharing. So what you have to do here, actually, you know what? I'll screen share this. Hold on. I didn't know this. I never had to do this before. I don't know if it's a new feature, old feature. Never had to deal with it ever before. Let's go to StreamYard here. So what you have to do for the audio, once you're the host, okay? Once you're the host and you go into StreamYard here, my dumbass didn't click add to stream for myself. So there's no audio if you don't unless you add yourself to the stream. I don't know whether I forgot to do that. I don't remember ever doing it before, but that's all you have to do. So as soon as you're in here, be sure to click that add to stream, even if you're the host. It should automatically do that. If you're the host, it should automatically add you to the stream, and then you should be fine. But whatever. I mean, it is what it is. Nothing else you can do. Can't talk. Nothing else I can do about it now. So we'll just move on, and we'll go back over here, and we'll go to share screen. Boom. There, and there. Okay, so now, yeah, it definitely should be automatic. I agree. But anyway, we're here regardless. So I did kind of take a little bit of a hiatus, and I apologize for that. Long story short, because I've already made you guys wait long enough until I'm getting to the content. Long story short, I've been kind of like a lot of things are changing life wise. So I did have to take a little bit of like a 2-week hiatus. So I do apologize for that. I was trying to get back to a normalcy of uploading videos. I did get a new job, so there's that. And then a whole bunch of other stuff is happening. I'm going back to Buffalo to visit for about 2 weeks. There's actually a big part of my collection that doesn't really benefit me anymore. So I'm going to go back to Buffalo, take full inventory, and then I'm going to be parting it out. So there's that. A bunch of Min on card stuff that I've kept, and it's just not doing anything. So I'm just going to sell it all. And then I'm going to put that money towards some stuff that can be used for future projects in the future. But anyway, moving on here. We are talking about G.I. Joe Classifieds today. So I do apologize for, like I said, the break or whatever. But I wanted to talk about some of these figures because I haven't really discussed G.I. Joe Classifieds in a while. When the toy line first started out, I want to say that it's kind of been, I don't know. Hold on a second. I want to actually get rid of that because I want the whole screen in here. I guess I have to add myself here. Do I have to? There we go. Perfect. Okay. Back to the story at hand here. So what I want to do is just kind of discuss some classifieds figures and kind of talk about what my thought process is about, what figures I'll be picking up, kind of go through each individual figure that's coming out and kind of just talk about it a little bit because I don't really discuss too much G.I. Joe on my channel. And I still love G.I. Joe, and I don't want any misconceptions of what I like. Just because I don't cover it with constant reviews doesn't mean I don't enjoy the thing. Classifieds has grown on me. I'm going to be totally honest with you. It has grown on me. It's taken a lot longer to grow on me. I'm not all in on it. Like I said, it's been really tough with the prices going up, but there's still some figures out there that are around that $22, $23 price point, which does help the situation quite a bit. I look at these figures and I think they're still like around that $20, I would say the $22.99 wasn't too bad of a price point. I could live with that. Once we started going up to 25, and now I don't know if they're going up to the $27 or $28 that they were talking about with other toy lines, but I don't know. Caramba. But I wanted to talk about the figures themselves, regardless of how much their prices are, regardless of the windowless packaging, which, I mean, I want to say the majority of people aren't a big fan of the windowless packaging. Min on card collectors, loose collectors, we all have our gripes and our issues with it. And I don't blame collectors for being frustrated with Hasbro because we all know, and we're not stupid. We weren't born yesterday, Hasbro. We all know what this is all about. This isn't about saving the environment. This is about lining your pockets. And, there's a lot of people that take offense to me saying that. And I've said it in multiple different groups. And they get frustrated with it because they love Hasbro so much. But the problem with that is you can love Hasbro all you want, but they're not going to do anything for you or your situation or your anything. They're just making plastic people and charging you an arm and a leg for it. But there is something to be said about a windowed package. When you're taking a look at this, I mean, this is a really nice presentation for the box, the box work, artwork, or whatever we want to call it here. don't like how Hasbro Pulse is set up. This is just asinine. I'm about to go to Big Bad Toy Store in a second. But when we take a look at the presentation here, it looks really good. Like, I don't have an issue with any of this. How it's set up, the way the box is set up. I have noticed that a lot of their cardboard, whether it's their cardboard backs or just their boxes, have felt very cheap and flimsy lately. Especially some of the retro. I think the only retro figure I got from the retro line was the Stalker, and that card back is starting to curl. I ended up buying two, and I did actually want one for the card because I thought the card looked good, and it's starting to curl a little bit already. And I'm like, and you know, I have two air conditioners in my house. It's not like my house gets hot. Down south, you have to have two air conditioners, and they're brand new. So, you know, it cost us an arm and a leg to get two brand new air conditioners, and they're working fine. You know, the house is a cool 67 degrees at all times. So, I mean, you can't really say it's the environment in which they are. It's just the cheapness of the actual cardboard. Just starting to, it's very thin cardboard. Anyway, I feel like if you're paying a premium for figures, even if they're 3 3/4 inch, they should have a proper thick back to them. Kind of similar to what Marvel Legends does with their retro line, but it doesn't seem like they want to take the time to do it for all the other lines. You know, with a retro Marvel Legend, you get that very thick card back. It's almost like a double layer card back, and it feels well done. Even with the Black Series, with the 40th anniversary ones, whether it was the A New Hope one or the Empire Strikes Back, I mean, you felt the double layered card back, and it felt like sturdy and quality. Now, personally, I don't really give a shit that much about card backs. I usually take the figure out anyway. It doesn't bother me. But what I'm trying to say here is that life is like a box of chocolates. I don't know what you guys are talking about over there. But the box itself looks really good. Like, when you take a look at this, it looks really nice. I mean, there's a lot going on with this Crocmaster and Fiona figure. It looks really, really good. Could you imagine if you had this and now it had no plastic window for you to see where the accessories are, what the accessories that he comes with, all that stuff? If you don't see any of that, it's just like you're essentially getting a Lego box. I don't know. There's something about that really just comes off like cheap shit. And I don't like cheap shit. I don't like buying cheap shit. I don't like owning cheap shit. You know, unless I buy it's a dollar store figure, then it's like, okay, I know what I'm getting myself into. But when I'm paying, you know, $41, and I'm not using Crocmaster because he's going to come in a window box, but in the future, I mean, with figures, I mean, if I'm paying $41 and I'm still just getting the figure and I'm just getting a bunch of cardboard, what essential money am I saving by, quote, saving the environment and having less plastic, even though you're giving us a plastic action figure, which is like redundant. I don't know. You're trying to save money on plastic, but yet you're a plastic action figure company. It's like, oh, I don't know. The redundancy there is exponential. But taking a look at the figure itself, because I want to sit here bitching and moaning about packaging the whole time. Taking a look at the figure itself, I really, really like this figure quite a bit. I think this is a absolute home run. Now, did most people probably want Crocmaster this early? Probably not. And I completely understand that. He's got a release date of September. I really like the amount of detail that's going on here with a very simplistic design. His whole chest area, we'll take a look at this. His whole chest kind of, sorry, I'm not trying to shake the camera all over the place. His whole chest sculpt, it looks fantastic. It's all one piece, so there's no like loose pieces or anything like that. You can see that it's all sculpted onto the actual figure. It's not like a Marvel Legend where he's wearing this loose vest and it's popping up past his neck and getting in the way, you know. Hey, Andy, what's going on, buddy? And thank you to Woodman and Terry Turner for hanging out. And thank you to whoever's just kind of chilling out. You don't necessarily have to be in the chat, but yeah. But I really like the sculpt of him. I gotta say the head sculpt looks really good. Like I said, very simple. It's kind of that, you know, classic look with also a little bit of a modern update. Kind of looks very Pursuit of Cobra-esque. Still would have liked maybe even with the Pursuit of Cobra version of him, which was essentially just the re-release of the 2007 2008 version. I would have liked a little bit more of an update here, but I mean, I get it. It's Crocmaster. It doesn't, I don't know, piss me off that much that it's not more modern, which is what I always strive for. It's like the next evolution, even though G.I. Joe's never going to evolve because it's stuck in the 80s constantly. But this figure, I got to say, it looks really good. Like I said, from the sculpt, from what I can see, it looks very good. It doesn't look like I don't know, it doesn't look and feel like a Marvel Legend too much. Like there's a lot of sculpt and detail there. I like the little hook that he comes with. I love Fiona. She looks fantastic, and I love that she comes with her two little babies, as we're going to take a look here. Or not. I guess we're not going to take a look there. Let's see if I can find her over here. Where is she? There she is with the open mouth. There we go. So she's got an open mouth here and it is articulated. The limbs on her are articulated, and I think her tail is. Let me double check here. Let's just see. I'm trying to. Oh, no, don't do that. All right, here we go. I couldn't find my arrows here. Let's keep going down, 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 down. Yeah, sorry. I'll stop doing it now. But the tail looks to be articulated. The torso piece looks to be articulated over here as well. And so do the feet. So she's pretty well articulated for just a croc, which is nice. I really dig that quite a bit. I think they really did a great job with this release, and I'm really looking forward to getting this. Initially I was going to pass on it, but it kind of, I don't know, like I said, it kind of grew on me. And I think what you're getting for $41 and such is what you should be getting. You know, this is a $42 set, I think. It comes with two babies that will actually fit in her mouth, which is really cool. I love the whip. I love the kind of the removable collar and kind of chain piece. It would have been amazing, and I know if McFarlane would have done this, he would have done an actual chain so it doesn't look so plasticky like it does here. And I also like the hook, so you can kind of get that hook in her mouth and open up her jaw even more. But I love it. I think it looks fantastic, and I actually have a couple other Crocs that I can put with Fiona and Crocmaster. So that's the first one I wanted to talk about. I know I spent a lot of time talking about it, but we're going to spend a lot of time talking about these figures one by one. If you want to check out what I have to think about Spirit, you can go check out the review if you want to. I think he's a fantastic figure. A couple little tweaks that I would have made here and there, but I think he's a solid traditional looking Spirit with a modern update. I think it looks really good. Moving on to Storm Shadow. Now, is he a Target exclusive? Crocmaster, I don't think he is a Target exclusive. I think he's just a regular release. That's why he's available on Pulse. You can get him on Big Bad Toy Store. I'm pretty sure he's going to be on the shelves anywhere you go, whether it's Walmart, Target, GameStop. Crocmaster should be a lot around a lot of places. Same thing with Storm Shadow here in Spirit. The Target exclusives, I think you'll kind of notice that I don't think the Cobra Island figures are really still a thing. I think they've switched to Tiger Force now as far as the Target exclusives go, which when you think about it does make a lot of sense. I'm not a big Tiger Force person, but and I'm going to get to that whole Tiger Force thing once we get to the Tiger Force stuff, but and Python Patrol and all that fun jazz. But for the most part, I want to say these figures, the regular releases like this, the Storm Shadow will be in stores, and this is really the Storm Shadow that we should have got in Wave 1 or Wave 2. I'm not really sure why we had to get that Amazon exclusive, G.I. Joe version of Storm Shadow first. Like, I don't understand who asked for that, who requested it, who thought it was a priority, didn't need it, don't want to be reminded of Ninja Force at all. And God, I hated Ninja Force. It was like the bane of G.I. Joe's existence. I couldn't stand that whole subline. But anyway, this Storm Shadow looks really good. He's got a nice classic feel to him with an update. And I know they just announced a more classic look, and that's kind of the direction that they're going now, is because all the man babies have cried and whined and like, oh, we want more retro and we don't want this modern stuff. Ooh. And they constantly cry about the Nerf gun stuff, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I don't mind like that. These Joes don't have like futuristic looking weapons that are based off of Nerf guns, and I don't mind that they get normal looking weapons. That's fine, but Cobra should have the more futuristic looking weapons. That's what always made sense to me, regardless of what you want to tell yourself. G.I. Joe is very extremely loosely, holding on by a very thread, based in reality. It's not really that based in reality when you think about it. Even going back to the comics, I've heard people try to compare. Well, you see Vietnam stories with Stalker and Snake Eyes in Vietnam, and that's based in reality. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't hold water, because all the stories after that, they're kind of ridiculous in the comics, and it gets even more ridiculous in the 90s. So I don't know, read up on your comics, man. G.I. Joe is supposed to be a little ridiculous. So I don't know. The so-called G.I. Joe purists out there sometimes just really baffle me, because I start giggling when I hear that their main complaint is that they have gauntlets, which they don't like. Oh, these gauntlets, they're just I'm like, good Lord, man. Like, what are you complaining about? So they're to typical Hasbro fashion, they cater to the crybabies, and they go ahead and make one without armored gauntlets. I prefer this one. I think it's a nice vintage look with a modern update, which is what I've been saying G.I. Joe needs to do forever. If it were up to me, I would go full Pursuit of Cobra, and I would 86 any sort of look of any sort of vintage feel. Like I said, you have to eventually evolve the brand. Like, it can't just stay in the Cold War era forever, because it just gets redundant. But this is a really nice figure. I like him. He's definitely at the top of my list for figures I'd like to get at, especially at that nice $22.99 price point. Here's the figures packaging. The Ultimate Storm Shadow is too expensive now. Oh yeah, and 3 3/4 inch, 3 3/4 inch, excuse me, /4 inch. Yeah, it's pretty damn expensive. I mean, I'm glad I picked it up when I did because, and that's what I'm saying. Like, this is loosely based on that Pursuit of Cobra. I think there's what is it? There's a designer on the GI Joe team that I think was a big fan of Pursuit of Cobra, and he was the guy that had kind of like what was it? He had a bunch of like finger rings and stuff like that, and he looked very metal. He had a bald head, I think, and he was like, "Oh man, if I could pick one character, I'd love Shadow Tracker." And I was like, "Thank God they have someone on there that actually just said that." And the other people were like, kind of looking at him like, "Oh yeah, who's that?" And they're like, "Oh, Pursuit of Cobra line, 2010. Come on, get with it." Brent Richards, what's going on, buddy? But yeah, I don't know. It's just, this looks more Pursuit of Cobra for me. This looks like Ultimate Storm Shadow. I love that he comes with the removable hood, so you can have it, you can not have it. The accessories work. I mean, it makes sense. I love the quiver mixed with the two sheaths for the swords. It makes sense. Everything, I mean, on here. Some of this is re-released from the GI Joe Amazon exclusive Storm Shadow, but I think it looks great, and I think this is a home run. I actually prefer this a lot better than the retro one, just because he has that more of an updated feel while still giving off that vintage look. So that's it for Storm Shadow. Let me know if you guys want me to stop or have any questions about something. Like I said, Spirit, I already did a full review on him, so go check that out if you want to. Let's see. All right, so let's get into the beginnings of the Tiger Force and Python Patrol stuff. I'll go ahead and say this. I am not a big fan, and I never was a big fan of Tiger Force or Python Patrol. It just seemed like a weird way to play catch up of characters or figures that you missed out on, but in different paint decos, which I was just like, why not just re-release the ones that I don't have in the regular deco? I didn't really care for this. I don't know, especially just some of the designs, they just stick out like a sore thumb. They look kind of absurd. They feel very mid 90s, early 90s. I just was never a big fan of this look. But the Cobra Bat design it's a fun design. It's a fun looking figure. I have a couple, and I was fortunate to actually find them at a Target. And I love the attachments. I think this is a home run figure. I just don't prefer it in the Python Patrol stuff. I actually do like the red face mask or the red helmet face portion, whatever you want to call it. And I don't mind the yellow on the sides of the helmet. It's just like all the yellow everywhere else is just a bit much. If they kind of would have just stuck with like a gray and red theme, and just kind of hinted at some of the yellows and that went so retro with it, I think I would have maybe been on board and maybe been like, okay, well, some of these bats are, for a different, regiment or whatever, different squad, like a recon squad or something like that, or they're upgraded bat, something like that. And that's the other thing, like it brings me to, it is 90s extreme. That's right. It also brings me to my next point of like evolving the bats a little bit. Like I like this and I really dig the overall aesthetic for this figure, but evolving that, like I want to say in the 2000s we've got, or the mid 2000s, we got the Bat Attack, which is one of my favorite like sets. We don't get action figure sets anymore. We just get like single card release. I know they're doing the Viper 3-pack, but I mean, I miss like full battle packs, like 6-packs, 7-packs, stuff like that. And like you got that if you don't know what the Bat Attack 6-pack was, or what was it, 6-pack or 8-pack or something like that. Anyway, it was a multi-pack, and it had all different designs, including Overkill, which I think makes tons of sense. I mean, you're knocking out new designs for the bats, which they greatly need. I want the bats to look like freaking T-800 Terminators. I want them to look gnarly and menacing and something that'll scare the shit out of you if you came across it on the battlefield. These bats kind of look like, they remind me of my childhood, and it's just kind of like a warm feeling. It's not like oh, that looks scary and intimidating. I don't know. I think I don't know. Yeah, I did do a review of it, Terry. Thank you. I did do a review of it. I think it was back in like 2015, around that era. But it's a really good pack. It's called the Bat Attack 6-pack, I believe, and it comes with Overkill, and that's an update for Overkill. And it comes with 4 or 5 other bats, something like that. And they all have like these kind of like canisters that attach to their back. It's like also like a what was it, like it's like a backpack, so they can hang different arm attachments on there, and they look friggin' like they're gonna murder you. Like these look like they're gonna explode if you fart in their general direction. So I don't know. Like I said, I like the nostalgia feels, but the feels get a little bit boring over time. Moving on to the Python Patrol Viper. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of it. It's a bit too just much for me. I was never a big fan of Python Patrol and them using the Joe's stuff, and I'm like, why would Cobra need to use the Joe stuff that's a little bit more dumbed down, a little bit more realistic, and when they have their kind of futuristic modern tech? They have things like, I know the Night Raven is loosely based on this and that and whatever, but look at some of their other vehicles, like the Hiss. That doesn't look like any other tank, especially when you look at the what was it, the later years of the Hiss. Like it started like almost morphing into like an actual mouth that would open up and like eat you or something like that. Those were the Sigma 6 bats, the Bat Attack 6-pack. I don't think it was it? Here, I'll just screen share it with you guys. G.I. Joe. I have to use one hand because I'm holding my microphone with my other hand. Joe Bat Attack. All right, here it is. All right, so this is what it looks like, essentially. Oh my God, this is hysterical. I love this. You ready? Hold on. I go to... What did I want to do here? What did I want to do? There we go. Okay, we'll go back to my ugly mug for a second. We'll go over here, and then we'll go to that, and we'll just go to whatever. We'll just do entire screen. There we go. Okay, so here we go. I find this funny because this is actually my video right here. This is fantastic. It's the third thing after the Google search. Can you believe that? That's actually my my review right there. So if you want to check it out, you can just Google G.I. Joe Bat Attack or Bat Attack 6-pack. Yeah, it's a 6-pack. And you can go with that. So now this was the coolest thing about this pack. So you got Overkill right here, right? And then you've got these 2 new guys right here. You see their beady little green eyes right there. Like that's friggin' scary as shit. And then you see like, what was it? I think version, and they kind of gave you like a little bit of history too. They gave you the version 3, I believe, and then version 4, and then these are version 5, if my memory serves me correct. I may be mistaken. So help me God if I am. I know the world is coming to an end and all hell's going to break loose. But anyway, their backpack had these like canisters right here, right? And they had extra arms that you could attach. That's what those are right there. And they had other weapons attachments that you had like big arms that were just guns for God's sake. And this guy right here, I thought he was really cool too, version 4, because he had these like different type of legs. And if we can go over here, you'll see they kind of look like leaping legs, like he could jump around and stuff. And I'm just going to go into this really quick and I'll show you what I'm talking about with these legs, right? If you see these legs are kind of like almost like inverted. They look like they could jump around, fly around, stuff like that. And I don't know, I just really dug that someone actually took a chance to help the bats look a little bit different. Maybe some people don't like the long antennas. I mean, maybe you got a point there. But he does come with a backpack, which does have 2 hooks on each side, and you could hook. That's where those holes are, right there and there. You could hook those onto the backpack, and it could hold on to it. And then you've got the 2 arms that kind of plug right in if you want regular arms on there. So he did have storage capabilities too. And this is what I'm talking about. Like someone actually took the time to redesign the bats, and multiple times, because these figures were released even before this Bat Attack 6-pack. And going back over here, you'll see even this guy right here in the center. That's the version 2 or 3, I think. He was fully redesigned as well, and he's got that backpack again with the attachments too. And it just makes sense, and it was a welcomed thing, I felt like. So that's my long story is longer. Yeah, like a grasshopper. Perfect example. Is just like a grasshopper. Oh, grasshopper. But that's kind of my 2 cents on that. I don't want to sit here and continue to discuss the same thing over and over again. But with Python Patrol, I always thought Python Patrol should have been a specific team, like a very small group of elite people, snipers. I mean, when you look at them, you think jungle. You see their kind of their pattern of camo and stuff like that, checkered pattern, whatever, on their sleeves and such. And I always thought it was really cool. The elite, what was it? Like you have the elite of the elite, which is the regular Vipers, and then you would have the sub line. And instead of having just Vipers and just having army builders for the what we call it, Python Patrol, you could just have new characters and make them just Python Patrol. And it's got to be new characters, because if you go old characters or the same old stuff, it's just like, you're just repainting. You're just being lazy. Give me some new characters. And they actually did this. I think, what was it? With an SDCC exclusive. Let me just see if I can not screw this up and find this. Now, they're very rare. And if you find them, they're worth a ton of money. So see if that'll pop it up. If there's even one on here, who knows? I mean, I remember seeing a couple of them. Let's go. Oh boy, let's go to, what am I doing here? Buy it now. And I want to go to, oh no, maybe not. I don't remember their names. Patrol. Let me know if you guys know their names. I think I made some customs of them years ago. Let's see. There's got to be at least one on here. Worst case scenario, that's what I probably should do. I probably should just, they were like Brazil. It was the Brazil mission. One was a sniper, the other one was like a spotter. That made perfect sense to me. Let me just go over here and just get out of here. Oh, ACC. There we go. All right. See, like these, I was never feeling the laser viper and Python Patrol and the Major Blood. I was like, ugh. But when they started doing new characters, where are they? Got to be way more specific now. Where you at? Where you at, boy? They were called. They had two different names. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is, if I see them, I will point them out. It would have made a lot more sense to just instill new characters there for that, instead of just I mean, I get what they're doing. They're trying to make an extra buck off of older mold, but what are their names? I should probably just look this up on Yo Joe or something. I just being late. Here he is. Here we go. And I know this is actually a re-release, but I mean, you could redesign this and fix it so he's not Lightning Raponglo or whatever the hell his name, the boat pilot, which is essentially, it's just Ripcord. That's all that was. But his counterpart, now here's the set. Now this makes sense. If you're going to make two new characters, one's Trigger, one's Lightning, right? You're going to make two new characters. It makes sense. Go for it. Redesign them, though. Obviously, don't do just two G.I. Joe bodies. This is Ripcord, and that is Airborne's body. All they did was give them different guns, and these two figures go for insane prices, like something like $200 a piece. Like it's just stupid, and they're just repaints, so you could literally make these two yourself. But my point is that would have made a lot more sense here, and the fact that the G.I. Joe Classified just kind of goes the the limp route, like the limp mode route. It's kind of like you haven't learned from the past. I don't know, but which brings me to my next point, which is Mr. Selkirk here. Did I make customs of those? I did, Woodman. I did. I haven't done a video on them, but I did do a couple customs for them, and I did redesign them using Marauder stuff. So maybe I'll have to go back and start, doing some lost missions, Marauders customs. But anyway, it brings me to Mr. Selkirk here, which I'm actually really like this figure. I just kind of wish it was the regular look for him. This is kind of like the I've seen better days, Outback. The older Outback. I know a lot of people like this version of Outback. It doesn't, this actually doesn't bother me. I know a lot of people don't like it, but this version of him doesn't bother me one bit. It just, I don't know, for some reason, I don't mind the older look for him, the gray hair, the big tiger. I mean, he already has a ridiculous t-shirt that says survival on it. I mean, like, I'm not going to get pissed off about an orange shirt with a tiger on it. He's already wearing a white t-shirt that says survival on it. What's the difference? I like the green pants. This version never bothered me. There are some Tiger Force, like Bazooka, which we'll get to, that never really bothered me. Because I hate the Patriots. Sorry, Woodman. But but we'll get to that in a second. I like what he comes with here. I think this is a home run hitter. I don't even mind that it's Tiger Force. I could use this as like a, like in the future Outback or something like that. Or if I wanted to, I just use it as Outback. I could swap the heads when the regular version comes out, and I could use that on there too. So it's, the world is your oyster as usual with your imagination. But I like what he comes with. I think he comes with a good plethora of stuff. Comes with his big gnarly backpack, which he should have. I like the harness rig that he comes with. I like the drop down leg holster. I like the flashlight holster that he comes with too. The old school like Vietnam flashlight holster, which it's dated. He wouldn't be using that at this point, but he is gray. He is older, so maybe that's what he would use. Who knows? I just like that he's got like an old school shovel, a K-bar knife, which that's what it looks like. Maybe I'm wrong, but and he looks gnarly. Like he looks like what was it? Another version that I really liked of Outback was the zombie version that came out in the SDCC pack, which was that whole zombie when they went zombie mode, which I didn't mind for the 3 3/4 inch figures. And there was a really good version of him that came out that had like goggles, and a lot of it was repainted, used from, Pursuit of Cobra Snow Job. We all know that, but go Pats. You might be last in the division this year, buddy. You better watch out. I'm just kidding. You and that Cole Strange reach. You want to start talking about some draft. Oh boy, don't get me started. But anyway, sorry, I'm just busting Woodman's balls. I like the everything that he comes with. This is a total package right here. This is a stellar looking figure. This is actually a figure I did pre-order, so I'm pretty excited for that one. That one I think is going to look really good. He's going to be like one of those fun figures that you could take like on a camping trip or just take photos in your backyard and stuff like that out in the wilderness, and it's just going to work. It's going to look great, especially when the original one comes out, or I should say, more vintage looking one. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but his original look where it says white t-shirt, survival, all that fun stuff. But I think that's a really good figure. I really like the way he looks and how he turned out. All right, moving on. This is some older stuff. We're not going to get to that. I'm going to try and get some of these older reviews done, like that Roadblock I have, Major Blood. What was it? Firefly I have, which I think that's a really good figure, a very underrated figure that not a lot of people talk about. I love everything he comes with. It looks fantastic. It's such a good figure, but I want to do a full review on that. So getting to the more newest. No, that's a weird way to say that. The newer releases, which I do want to start from the bottom and work our way up. I also got the Alley Viper. Expect that review, and the Cobra Bat. So I'm going to skip those, and we're going to move on to the twins. The twins here. I mean, Tomax and Zaymont. I'm trying to pronounce both their names in one. Tomax and Zaymont. I think these are really good looking figures. I don't have an issue with them. I like their cheesy little smirk in their face. I think this is another really solid release. And I don't even have the figure in hand. So, I mean, I'm going to wait and see. But from what I can see here, I think they look really good. They've always been simplistic characters. They don't come with a whole lot. They don't need a whole lot. But you do have to get both. There is some new tooling for each. Obviously, the armor is going to be on opposite sides for each twin, for the shoulder armor and the collared armor. So that's pretty cool. They essentially just come with a knife, a submachine gun, 2 knives, a submachine gun, and a total of 2 magazines with the figure. And there are actual sheaths for both knives. Thank you. I don't think there's a place to put the extra magazines or the removable silencer on there, but whatever. I think these look really good. I'm hoping which I don't see is I don't see a shinier chrome metallic look for the armor. So I'm probably going to I'm going to promise you I'm going to do a video of me painting all of that stuff and kind of give them a little bit of a light wash, which I've been dabbling in is more and more painting. But let me get to Xamot over here. Xamot. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do a 2-pack too, seeing as they did the Viper 3-pack, which would have made a lot of sense for them. But, they're going to try and make their money regardless. So, yeah, it looks pretty good. Like I said, same thing as his brother, just, different face sculpt, obviously, which I think is cool. He looks a little bit weird here in the packaging. It looks like he's shrugging his shoulders a little bit. But here he looks fine, just fine. And I like the head. I really love this about modern figures. The head and the neck joint now are separate pieces, just like SH Figuarts have done for so many years. It really does give so much better of a range of motion and a more natural looking range of motion and articulation, as opposed to just the neck hinge ball peg joint, which was good for its time, but I think it was time to evolve into this kind of double peg joint. But they look good. The twins look good. There's not really too much else to talk about. They both essentially come with the same stuff because they're identical. Which brings me to one of my favorite characters, which is Lonzo. I don't. There's something off with this figure. I don't know what it is. I think it's the face I hate. It looks freaking weird. I don't know. It doesn't. I don't get I don't get Lonzo out of this face sculpt. It looks like, I don't know, too generic. Like you're supposed to be able to tell Stalker. When you saw the 3 3/4 inch figures, you knew that was Stalker. Like what was it? The 30th anniversary 3 3/4 inch Stalker. Like that was a great update. I love the dreads on him. It's just a fantastic figure. It's one of those figures where I always bring it whenever I go on to a long trip somewhere and I want to take photos in different landscapes and stuff like that, or I'm going camping. I'll bring him, Shadow Tracker, and a couple other figures, but I always tend to bring him. I don't know why. Him and Shadow Tracker always go lots of places with me. There's just something, maybe it's just me. Let me know in the comments below, but there's just something off with this head. I don't know. Maybe it'll look different. These are just promo shots. I usually try to give toy companies the benefit of the doubt. I try. But then usually when I get them, I'm not pleasantly surprised, which is unfortunate. But he comes with a ton of stuff, which is really cool. The beret sits too high. Yeah, it's the beret and it's the head. Like his head, it looks so flat right here. Let me get another photo here. His head looks so flat. And then it's like almost like a perfect square. I don't know. It just looks really something's just weird. It's the angles of the sculpt of the nose and the chin and the cheeks. Everything is very angular. So I don't know. I don't like his head sculpt. I might have to get a custom head sculpt for him, maybe from like Old Boy or Camaro Dude or something like that. And replace it because I just don't like that head sculpt at all. I would have actually preferred they did a non-removable beret and just sculpted it onto the head, because having a floating beret on someone's head like this looks a little weird. It makes his forehead look even larger than it is. So I don't mind this. Probably not going to use it though. Let me see some promo shots with him having it on, because Hasbro's sneaky, man. They'll throw some accessories in there, but then they won't take promo shots of it. So you can see how it looks. See, look, there's a promo shot without it. There's a promo shot with it on, but it's covered by the gun. See, they're sneaky as shit. They were like, oh, well, this is going to sit funky, so let's just cover it up, you know? See, there's another promo shot with it off. I think that's the only promo shot with this damn scarf on, or whatever it's called. Sigma or Sig I don't know the technical term. Like Marvel Legends gargoyle face. Yeah, it's just a little weird. I like everything else though. I mean, I like the camo could be a little bit better. I feel like their camo isn't all that great. Like, it's kind of too subtle. It needs to be a little bit more, and it needs to be around, like, I don't know, just more defined camo. It's almost like so subtle you don't even notice, you know? But I really like the weaponry he comes with. I like pretty much everything. I wish it would show everything that he comes with. This little attachment right here on his leg. So you'll see it in the packaging. It's right here. And that's not going to show it. Great. It's right here. And that is actually to attach to this rifle right here. And that is a larger ammunition magazine, a higher capacity magazine that stores right on his friggin' leg, which is sick. I love that. I love storage on action figures. It's great. I love it. And then he's got his looks to be like a extended mag 45 customized somehow. And then he's got his knife sheath on his leg, which I'm not a big fan of knife sheaths on legs. I think it looks a little weird. I'd prefer it on his back, but that's just me. It does show his rifle can be stored on his back, which I'm hoping that there's no pegs sticking out of these figures or these figures accessories, kind of like the older or the earlier figures that we got from Classifieds. Here's the new back artwork. You know, it's back artwork. It's probably going to be recycled for the most part for me, but I don't know. I like right here, the head sculpt doesn't look bad, and the beret looks good, like it's sitting on the head right. But then I look at other ones and I'm like, yikes, you know. You actually look at the other ones that are promo shots, and this is actually a really good shot right here. I really like the this promo shot right there. It looks good. But yeah, I don't know. This is like one of my favorite characters, and I'm not gonna lie, he looks a little weird in that head. I just don't like the head. Give me everything else and just redo the head, please. You know. But that's Lonzo for you. Moving on to this, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. There's a little joke between me and Strident and I, with the Ohio State University Cobra Viper right here, which is what he looks like. The Ohio State representative right here, the mascot for the Ohio State Buckeyes. But I don't know. I don't mind it as much as I know Strident hates this design for the Viper officer. I don't mind it that much. I just think it's funny that it is the Ohio State University colors. I think that's funny. But I like this 3-pack though. I think it makes sense. I was surprised that they actually did a 3-pack, and it's going to be like a regular release thing. It's not an Amazon exclusive. It's not a Target exclusive. You can get it at a Big Bad Toy Store. You're going to be able to get it anywhere. So at least they are releasing Army Builder packs. So I can get behind stuff like this. But when they do like, Pimp Daddy Destro in the early waves, I'm like, you need to cut that shit out, please. So this is I like this. This is a thumbs up from me. You're getting new accessories too with them. As you can see here, you're getting friggin' effects too, which is nice. Finally, Bobby Valla had to kick them in the ass to start to get them to do that. So thank you, Bobby Valla, for doing that. And regardless of what your opinion is, Bobby Valla, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that he has done with his toy line with Action Force that they have just ganked the idea from. But anyway, they come with, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different weapons and effects and stuff like that. So I think you're $90. Yeah, it's pushing it a little bit, but 20, 40, 60, 22. Yeah, that's about 70, 80. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of pushing it. Like it was almost like $100 for 3 figures, but they do come with a whole boatload of shit. So not that you can store all that shit on them, but all right. So for these, I'm skipping these entirely. I don't need more of the same shit I've already bought. So adios, muchacho. We're moving on to the story at hand here, which I'm going to skip those for now. We'll come back to them. Don't worry. Because I got a lot to say about those. So with the Python Patrol officer, it's just another officer in Python Patrol colors. It looks fine if this is what you're into. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. It's just not my cup of tea. Army Build Away if that's what you want. I mean, if you want to maybe say, hey, get one of them, maybe you could think of like, maybe this is Scarface and he's just wearing different colors and he's their officer and he's just got officer colors on. You could go with that if you wanted to. Sure, go for it. Like I said, use your imagination. World is your oyster. I want to talk mostly about these two because, like I said, these two were the two that didn't really bother me too much that they were Tiger Force. Same thing with Outback. It never bothered me, the color change for these two. Because, and here's my point. Bazooka was always ridiculous. I mean, the guy's running around with a friggin' New England Patriots jersey on. Now he just happened to become a Bengals fan, It's okay. Nothing wrong with that. He's a little bit of a turncoat. He's wearing a Bengals jersey now. That's all right. I can deal with the Bengals. Kitty goes meow, right? Kitty went meow last year. Went all the way to the Super Bowl. But and I've always had like a soft spot for Bazooka, even though he's, I always thought it was ironic that his name is Bazooka, but he's got a rocket launcher, and that's not a bazooka, which I think is hysterical. But I like the head sculpt. It looks like Bazooka. It looks very retro. It looks Tiger Forcey. No Bills shirt. Well, come on now. I wish it was the Bills jersey. If it was a Bills jersey, man, it'd have to be number 12, if they did an update, it'd have to be number 17. I mean, let's just be honest here. Josh Allen's just a freaking unicorn, that guy is. He is one in a generation. Anyway, moving on to the figure at hand here, where we've got some new articulation, range of motion pieces too. The diaphragm joint, they're going diaphragm, kind of like Action Force a little bit here, which is pretty cool. I don't mind it. The smoother the articulation, the better. I think if you had a huge cut joint there, it would look a little funky with a t-shirt and a number 14. Hopefully the sculpt continues throughout the torso when you crunch it back and forth. But, we'll see what happens there. The helmet looks good. His rocket launcher looks great. I'm assuming the legs are probably reused from Gung Ho. But I want to say the upper torso piece is brand new. The head sculpt is obviously brand new. The accessories are new. I don't have a problem with this release. I really don't. And I don't mind, I guess, him being a little ridiculous and being Tiger Forcey. Just because it's Bazooka and it works, I guess. And I think I had this figure before I got the original Bazooka. So this was my first Bazooka right there. I didn't get a chance to get the original Bazooka because that was just long gone back then. But I had this version, and I still have him. He's upstairs. So I don't know. Don't have too much of an issue with this figure at all. Moving on to Mr. Recondo. This was if I could pick one figure that fits Tiger Force, their aesthetic, I guess. I wish they would have switched the hat to his regular hat and then just go with if you want to go with a dark blue shirt and just his regular khaki hat, which made more sense, or a tan hat, whatever you want to call it. I think that would have fit better for a nice little update for him, and it would have made a little bit more sense. Because I do know that, these hats are specific and they mean something when they're colored different, like different branches of that, different branches of the army for Australia. So if they're wearing a blue hat, it means something like Air Force or whatever. If they're wearing a tan hat, it'd be like Army or whatever. I'm not being very specific here, but I'm just saying there are differences in that. But what does make sense is, I don't know if it's even on here, if the figure packaging's, oh, it is there. Okay. So if we see the side of the figure packaging, it's pretty cool because the original Tiger Force Recondo came with the Tiger Force. I call it it's just essentially the Tiger Force repainted version of the Dragonfly, which was the Tiger Fly or some shit. But they put it on the card art, which I thought was pretty cool, and he was the pilot of that. And then having the blue hat would put him in the Air Force, which would then make sense of him being the pilot for that. So things kind of make sense a little bit, but I still I don't know, I just want that damn regular hat. But I like this design for him. I feel like Recondo would wear something like this. He's essentially like a jungle survivalist, and I thought it made sense. I like the rifle. I don't have too big of a don't have too much of an issue with his rifle either. It looks like an EBR. I love EBRs. I've shot an EBR. They're great rifles. I love them. Some people are saying, "Oh, it looks like a Nerf gun," and I'm like, "No, it looks like a freaking EBR if you've ever seen one." So I don't know. Hasbro's getting a little bit better with their rifles. It's still not all there. It's a little bit different from a regular, a traditional like EBR, but is and I like the little wrapping on there. Is what it is for that. I like the backpack. I think they did a pretty good job with the pack, the hat. The head sculpt looks very kind of Quigley Down Under, which I love Quigley Down Under, and I love me some Tom Selleck. He's fantastic. And wow, that was a really good punt. I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of watching USFL too while I'm doing this. Can't help it. I need my football fix. Any way I can get it, that's how I'm watching it. I love that he comes with his kukri knife right here. Maybe I would have preferred a machete with him. I think that would have made a little bit more sense, but a kukri knife is a little bit, technically not it looks bigger than a regular kukri knife, so, but it is kukri shaped. So comes with a pistol. I mean, he comes with everything he pretty much needs. Comes with his watch, sculpted on his wrist and everything. I think this is a really well done figure. I just would have preferred his traditional look if I could pick out of the two first, as opposed to getting this first. More exclusives, they got to fill that void, and they'll probably come back and redo it. I don't mind. It doesn't really piss me off that much. Like it might piss other people off. But I think this can fit for him. I mean, you want to put him on a special missions duty, go for it. Here you go. You know, the guy can wear more than one friggin' attire at a time. But that's my thoughts on pretty much all three of these. If you're not really invested, I gave you kind of some sort of an option here with the Python Patrol, you know, call him Scarface and go from there. With these two, like I said, you know, there's cases to be made for both of them. All right, moving on to these three nerds right here. I'm going to get to, who should I start off with? We'll start off with Mr. Sold Out, which I don't know. Please, if I'm wrong or if I'm some sort of asshole, let me know. But how is Hasbro sold out of their own product on their own website? This baffles the shit out of me, and I don't understand. I'll never understand that. But anyway, here's the figure. Crimson Guard are one of my favorite Cobra troopers. I actually, what was it? Loosely based a... Yeah, I'm just watching idiot football players right now. Sorry, getting distracted. My ADD's kicking in. But loosely based the origin of Boomstick, which is a part of Fenris Company, on a Crimson Guard. Originally was a Crimson Guard, but it didn't go through the surgery, obviously. Doesn't make any sense. Never has. Yeah, I agree. But this is a really solid looking figure. I don't have an issue with it. Some people don't like the way the helmet is shaped for the mouth. I get it. I'm not going to nitpick that too much. I think it looks fine. The helmet does look a little bit small for the head. It almost looks like you got to have a teeny ass little peanut head to fit in that helmet. But I guess I'm not going to nitpick too much. But it's something to point out. It does look a little bit peanutty for that helmet. A little bit narrow here on the sides. Not a bad figure by any means. It looks the part. Don't be discouraged by this saying sold out here. You can go to Big Bad Toy Store and pre-order 75 of these if you wanted to, and they're available. Okay. Greg says Hasbro only ever allocates specific amounts of figures even before they're made. Pre-orders are not made to order. No, I understand that, but this is friggin' Hasbro's direct website. They should be able to allocate enough to hold stock. I mean, if it's coming directly from Hasbro and their distribution, which is Hasbro or Hasbro Wholesale, then it should be able to hold stock and not be sold out within, an hour after going up. That sounds a little ridiculous to me that they're only allocating so many small portions of stock for an hour's worth of pre-orders. Like, that doesn't fly with me. I'm sorry. It's just, no. Crimson Guardman really needed to come with some unmasked Fred head. Yeah, I would agree. A Fred head would be really nice. What I'm glad they didn't do was go with a removable mask with a Fred face. Thank God they didn't do that, Yeah, totally understandable, Fred. Or Fred. I just called you Fred. I got Fred on the mind. I feel you, Greg. I feel you. So I like the accessories here. He's a great army builder. $25 okay, I don't like that $25 price point at all. But and as far as an army builder, I feel like if you gave me a little bit less and you charged me 22 for army builder, I feel like army builders just I don't mind if you give me an army builder that's in windowless packaging because I'm just going to open that package up and he's an army builder. I know what he's coming with. So if you wanted to give me cut the cost down and go back down to like $22 or $20, screw it. I mean, you look at some of the Marvel Legends army builders that they do directly as a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. If you want to do that and just shove them in a crappy box, like that's fine with me. I mean, army builders to me should be the cheaper end of the toy line because you want to be able to get enough of them. You know, for me, it's always been like get 4 army builders. If you got 4, you got a squad. You're good to go. Maybe 5 tops. 5, no more after that. Getting 75 of them never made sense to me. Granted, other people, it makes sense to them. That's not my collection. I do things differently. But personally, just put them in a windowless package. If anything, if you want to save the environment, quote, put them in windowless packaging and just throw all the accessories in there. You don't even have to just put the figure in a baggie and throw them in a box and call it a day and charge $20. That makes a lot more sense to me, at least. Yeah, I know. Classifieds definitely doesn't understand Army Builder. Yeah, the 3-pack Vipers. I mean, yeah, it's expensive. It's $90 for 3 Vipers that should just be thrown in a box with a bunch of accessories and call it a day. We don't even. I mean, technically, how much do people use the shooting effects? I don't use them that at all. You know, if anything, I'll take the photo and then I'll add my effects after and put the more like photoshopped effects for the muzzle flashes. I don't ever actually use the muzzle flashes. And I know like you've got options. You've got Valaverse that'll come out that came out with that stuff. And granted, they came out with muzzle flashes first for G.I. Joe-esque looking figures. But I don't use them. Like they just sit in a bag full of a bundle of other accessories, you know? So I don't know. Personally, you could have just cut the cost down and just got rid of those. I personally don't give a shit about those. Personally, I know I'm in the minority here, probably. But if you wanted to cut the cost down and save people some money, you could do that. But regardless, I think this figure looks great. I mean, look at the posing. I will say this: Hasbro is getting a lot better with their posing for proto, or sorry, not proto, Photoshop or photo. I can't talk right now. Promo shots, my good lord. Some people were questioning the sword, and it has me questioning if they know G.I. Joe. If you've seen any of these figures before, you would know that, you know, Crimson Guardsmen have come with swords before. They've even came with swords. What was it? With the more modern, which is my favorite, which was the Ultimate Crimson Guardsman, which came with like little stickers, and you could make him an officer. And you could put them on his shoulder or whatever. He had different rankings and stuff like that you could put on him. That's seen as, I want to say, one of the best army builders for modern Joes that you could possibly get. But I think it's a really good figure. I think they did a really good job with this. Just kind of wish it wasn't $25. Oh boy, which one? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Okay, we'll just go over here. All right, so next up we've got Zarana. I I don't know where to start. Let's start with the packaging. Okay. We'll work our way down or up, excuse me, or sideways, whatever we're doing here. The artwork, I get it. Like they have different artists that they're hiring to do artwork, but I hate this artwork. It looks stupid and kitty, and I just personally, from a subjective standpoint, solely, I don't. It doesn't even match the other artwork that they're doing with some of the other ones. Like if you look at Bazooka's art, or not Bazooka's, if you look at Rakondo's artwork, which is really good artwork that makes sense for GI Joe, and then you look at this looks like, I don't know, it belongs in Archie's comics or something. I don't know. It just doesn't. It looks stupid. It just looks like a. It doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit. I shouldn't say it's stupid because someone out there, I'm probably sure, likes it. What I mean is, personally, I would have not gone with this artist. I'm not saying the artist is crappy. I'm not saying any of that. So don't get it twisted. All I'm saying is that for this toy line, this artwork does not make any sense. Not that I, yet again, give a shit about artwork, but it's something to point out if those of you wanted to talk about artwork for a second. I like the little update that she did get with her her submachine gun. They actually made it a submachine gun, or I'm sorry, a rifle, pardon me. It almost looks like an ACR with obviously her dreadnought, because they all modify their weapons. They're very, into that whole Beyond the Thunderdome look. But I like it. I don't have a problem with this at all. It looks modern. It's based off a real weapon. It's not the best sculpt I've ever seen, but it's no Gridiron Studios. It's no Action Force looking weaponry, but I think it fits the bill for a dreadnought. It looks good. It does look like an ACR. I think it's the closest thing I could think of. Maybe with a different stock, because I think most ACRs are foldable stocks. So it might be a little hinge right there that's sculpted in. I don't know. We'll have to see when I get it in hand, but I would like to get her. I don't like this head sculpt at all. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's more of a modern look, but I'm not feeling it. I don't know. Maybe it'll grow on me when I get her out of package. But for some reason, I don't know. That classic head it screams like Zarana to me. I don't know. It's not a bad head sculpt by any means. That's not what I'm saying. But I think I just prefer. Where is the damn classic head sculpt? Can I get the classic head sculpt up here? What's going on here? What are we doing here? Hello. I just don't like the way this freaking website is set up. There we go. Whoa, went too far. There we go. All right, so here we go. I don't know. I think I like this a little bit better. It's that vintage looking punk rock 80s style hair. It looks cool. I like it. I've always liked it. I like the little updates for the arms too. She's got some like arm, armor. That sounds weird, but she's got armor on her, and you can tell it's got actual like armor padding for the elbow too, which is pretty cool. The legs are an all new sculpt. I heard a couple people saying these are Lady J legs. I don't think they are unless they're retooled, because I don't remember Lady J having padding on the inside of her leg and then a big hole on this side either. So I'm pretty sure this is an all new sculpt for Zarana here. And I think she looks pretty good. I don't like the modern head so far. It just looks like she kind of stubbed her toe and she's kind of going, oh, when you stub your toe and all you can get out is like words that don't make any sense, like Hakatako Chuku, something like that. There's only one head. It's 2 hair sculpts. Wait, what? Are you serious? They did that again? Oh no, I hate that. Oh no. Well, thanks, Greg. You had to just kick me in the nuts, didn't you? I got excited that they actually put 2 new head sculpts in there, and now it's just back to that bullshit hair. I'd prefer just one hair. Just do the one head sculpt because the hair, especially on Lady J, didn't line up, and there's a lot of people that got bad QC with them, and the hair wasn't lining up, or the hair that's supposed to go over the ear wasn't lining up properly, and then it's just it's a cutesy concept, but it just doesn't make sense. Just do one head sculpt and call it a day, or just do 2 head sculpts. Removable hair, I don't like it. I don't like it. All right, which brings me to the last piece here. And normally I would save the best for last, but this is just as you all know, if you have followed my channel for any sort of time, that was a really good tackle. If you could follow my channel for any sort of time, you would know Dusty. I literally named my dog Dusty. Dusty is my favorite character in G.I. Joe. Then it goes like Dusty, Lowlight, Stalker, Duke, Hawk, Beachhead. I mean, they're kind of like, they're just, Dusty's my guy, though. He's always been my guy. He was one of the first, I think he was the first, was he no, Airborne was the first. He's also in that list, too, of favorite characters. Airborne was my first G.I. Joe. Dusty was, I think, my second or third. But something resonated with with his vintage figure. And when I saw the promo shots for it, I was like, oh, okay, that they went super retro, which initially when I first saw it, I was just like, oh God, they went retro. Oh, that sucks. Because I really wanted, personally, I know, like I said, minority. Personally, I wanted more of a modern look for him, like exponentially, because when you put Dusty with some of these other guys, it's kind of like he's like, fuck you doing here, dude? Like what are you doing here? So I wanted a little bit more of an update for him, more of like a Pursuit of Cobra feel where he could fit in anywhere. Now, granted, it's G.I. Joe. They're all supposed to look like a different branch and a different part of the elite of the elite. So they're going to all look a little bit unique. And I'm fine with them looking unique. But on top of that, there's some things that just don't make sense with this. And it's almost like they got a case of the feels with this figure. And they went a little overboard with that. Don't get me wrong. Like I still have my vintage Dusty figure. It's just a bit much. It's the goggles look a little off. They look a little weird, and it's cool that he comes with 2 different sets of goggles, so you can put them over the helmet or over his helmet, or over his face. I like that. Don't get me wrong. Backpack doesn't bother me too much. I don't really have a problem with the backpack at all. It's a backpack, whatever. What I do have a problem with though is this like weird, and I know that like this is what I'm talking about. Okay, let me get my thoughts straight here because I feel like I'm gonna go off on a tangent and I don't want to. I understand the vintage figure had a knife sheath in his leg. Personally, I think knife sheaths wrapped around someone's leg are ridiculous. I would prefer you just put the knife sheath on his belt on the back portion, or hang it from his harness right here. Whatever you want to do. Hang it upside down, hang it on his back. Something that's a little bit more tactical than him flopping around with a friggin' knife attached to his damn leg, which doesn't, I don't know, make a whole lot of sense personally. The fact that they didn't even update him that much kind of annoys the shit out of me. I mean, you could have given him some sort of knee pads or something to update him a little bit. I know a lot of people, for some reason, hate knee pads or knee armor for GI Joes, which if you look at most modern BDUs, they have integrated knee pads so people can take a knee, which they have to constantly in the military. But he doesn't have that. There's something off with his color scheme. It needs to be like a little bit darker. Like he needs a wash or something. I don't know. Especially Dusty. Like his name is friggin' Dusty, for God's sake. Give him a wash or something. Like if I'm spending $25, like I better get all that $25. This looks like a $20 figure to me. This might be the biggest culprit of price increase and shit staying the same or getting worse. Yeah, he comes with a lot of shit, but I don't know. We could say that until we're blue in the face. I mean, that's what the 50th anniversary figures came with. They came with a ton of shit, but it didn't really mean much because you can only store so much on the figure at one time. And then on top of that, on top of just having a bunch of shit, where else are you going to put it besides a baggie? You can't put it on the figure. You can't hold it all. So like what I don't know. The goggles, like I said, they look weird. Like look at that. It almost looks like the goggles are cross-eyed. It looks a little odd. Obviously it's going to look better on the helmet, which it does. Going over here. It looks a little bit better here. I mean, still, it looks like they're floating on his helmet. The helmet, now I know this would have cost more. There should have been some sort of, like if you really wanted to go for it, go all the way and make part of his helmet cloth goods. And it's not too outside the realm of reality with cloth goods being integrated with plastic, because we see it all the time with the Black Series, and Black Series, same price. So I don't know, give us less, which Dusty doesn't even need that much. He needs his backpack, he needs his FAMAS, he needs, he doesn't need a removable knife. We don't need that. You just 86 the knife. You want to give him a sidearm, go ahead and give it to him, but he doesn't really use one too much. Give him his FAMAS, give him his backpack. Stop doing removable magazines. It's unnecessary. There's nowhere to put the extra magazine. And call it a day. I don't know. Just some of the ideas are just not very good ideas. Let me see what people are saying here. Goggles needed a strap that goes across his nose or something. Yeah, I agree. And like I said, they look like they make him look cross-eyed with the goggles on over his face. It looks really weird. To me, the issue with them is that the eye pieces are too close together. Yeah, I agree. 100%. Casual critic. Thank you. Cloth goods on the helmet, maybe old school canteen. Yeah, I mean, that's fine too. I don't have a problem with that. He does have I will say this for the canteen situation. Right here, he does have a Camelback hose right here, which then would insinuate that over here, the backpack has a Camelback in it, which there's a lot of backpacks. I've even had one where it integrates the Camelback into the backpack pouch. There's like separate storage areas. You could just put it in there, and then the hose will reach onto a harness, stuff like that. So, I mean, if you want to go old school, sure, you could do the canteens if you wanted to. I don't mind the Camelback. It's nice that they actually did update that one thing on him. Like I said, if you look at, like, let me just put this in perspective for you. This is one of my favorite figures ever made. It's POC Dusty. If you don't know about this figure, if you don't have it, go get it. He doesn't garnish too much of a huge price for himself. If you go for mid on card, it's probably going to cost you a little bit more, but this is just an absolute fantastic figure. Top notch. That's a custom. Hold on. Here we go. Right here. This is a true update for Dusty. Like, this is what I think of. If you're gonna update him from a FAMAS, you would give him a Chris Vector. It makes perfect sense. It's small, it's lightweight, it's removable. It uses 45 ACP, or it uses 9 mil. So it's lighter weight as far as, you know, ammunition goes too. I know 45s are a little bit bigger. Obviously, that's gonna be a little bit heavier on him, but maybe he goes 9 mil. Let's just use our imagination here. But you look at the fitment of the goggles, which could also fit over his eyes, which would be the helmet here. You could also take them off. They're removable. The helmet was seated right on the head perfectly. Like, he had this awesome looking cloth cape that was attached to like plastic goods. Like, this never bothered me. He's a great figure. I think he's a 10 out of 10. Absolute 10 out of 10 figure. Everything that he comes with makes perfect sense. It's functional. He comes with gloves. He doesn't come with gloves. Even the vintage figure came with gloves. I don't know why they decided not to do that, especially if you're in the desert. Good Lord, you would wear gloves. Desert gets hot as shit, and when you touch something, you don't want to use your bare hands. Look, knee pads. Makes sense, right? This is all he needs, man. And this is all he comes with right here. He also comes with an extra kind of like a submachine gun here. It's like more like futuristic type submachine gun, but the Chris Vector make perfect sense. He comes with barbed wire. I think they just kind of threw that in. But the coolest thing about him was the friggin' extra head he came with, which was this kind of like friggin' gas mask almost. It was like this like mask that, you know, it made sense. It came with a sculpted hood on it, a little hat, and it just made a lot of sense for him. The only thing that he didn't come with that I kind of wish he would have been a backpack. If he would have came with a backpack and just get rid of this barbed wire, I think that was the only thing I think that I would have been like, that's the one thing I would have added instead of the barbed wire. But it made sense. It's absolutely a fantastic 10 out of 10 figure. And if you don't have him, go get him because he's great. This, like I said, it's too much of the feels for me. You know, like his rifle, I don't mind the rifle. Like, the rifle looks fine, and it's got the bipod attached to it, which it should, as you can see here. It's standing up, which it should. I don't know why they're so obsessed with removable magazines. Just keep it in the gun. Just keep it in the gun. I don't need it to be removable. I know some people like to do that or have that as an option, but I feel like it's unnecessary, and I feel like it's an extra cost that doesn't need to be done. I don't know. I really have this is a mixed bag. It's a real mixed bag. And his face sculpt was much better in the promo photos. Let me get to those really quick. If you look at the promo photos for him and you compare them to, you know, these photos, and like look at even the artwork, you can see like dude is a little grimy, you know, like he looks like he's been through hell. And like, look at these goggles compared to the goggles he comes with. Like, why didn't we get those goggles for him? I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of just scratching my head moments here. Like, look how funky that looks with the goggles. Why Pursuit of Cobra wasn't used as the design base. Thank you, Greg. Thank you. Been saying that for a very long time. Thank you, Greg. So when we look at the proto photo, let's see if I can zoom in here. Maybe they're not going to let me to zoom in. So you know what I'll do, you jerks, Hasbro. I'll go over here. We'll do G.I. Joe Pro, Anthony. Anto. Proto. Classified, sorry. Backwards now. All right, so let's go over here. Where's the digital render? Can you talk? Digital render. There he is. Okay. So when you look at this face sculpt, let me get a little bit closer. We're entering Twitter's hellhole now. When we look at this, and I know I get it. I totally get it. It's a friggin' digital rendering. It's going to look completely different from, or it's not going to look completely different. It's going to look different from how the figure is going to turn out. But when you look at the digital rendering here, they probably should have stuck with this darker shade. When you look at him here, he's got such a lighter shade of tan, and it looks like cheap plastic to me. And you come over here. Oh, where is it? Here we go. Come over here, and this looks a little bit darker, looks a little bit more natural. You can actually see some of the details here. With this, it's like the details get washed out. It's like, yeah, there's detail there, but it's like so washed out because it's such a brighter tan, and it seems like a cheaper plastic. Over here, this looks a little bit more natural. So it's another one of those unfortunate things. And, it's like, you almost had me. But, yet again, another ball that was dropped and rolled all over the ground and fumbled, and the other team picked it up and ran the other way with it. I don't know. I still feel like, shit, if they would have even just done this in 6-inch form, I think people would be a lot happier than with this. I don't know. Jury's out, but I'm not. I'll wait for a sale for this one, and that's a shame because he's my favorite character, and normally favorite characters get bought the fuck up by me. Sorry, I'm swearing all over the place, but they get bought up, and I can't see it happening for me with him unless he's a sale item. I don't know. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe he's got storage in here somewhere for a backpack, which is another thing they should think about doing. But even if they just kind of do what Valaverse does and just kind of have like a little seam right here that you can pop the peg out and store stuff in it, I think that would make sense as well. This harness and vest, I feel like if you're going to give us extra magazines and stuff like that, then you got to give us, areas to store said magazines. So I don't know. Personally, it's kind of a pass for me, that Dusty, and it's very difficult for me to say because Dusty's my guy. Like, that's my dude. It's my boy. It's my boy Blue. So it's an unfortunate thing. I don't know. This is just some of the stuff I wanted to talk about as far as classifieds, because I haven't really covered it at all. And like I said, the designs when they come out, they look pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie. You can't. I'm not gonna bullshit you. I'm gonna be as objective as I possibly can. Functionality of the figures is pretty decent until I got Spirit, which be very careful with Spirit. I don't know if it's just mine, but I started getting really bad stress marks on the ball joint connecting both the legs. And I started noticing it. And I'm not a heavy handed person. Like, I don't ham fist my figures. I know how to take care of my figures. I've been collecting for 20 years. And I just, I look at that. I look at it and I can see it right. I can see it right now. I'm just picking them up and I'm staring at it and I'm like, yeesh. It's a little worrisome with some of the joints. And I've seen people have breakage issues with some of these figures. So it's something to kind of keep in mind. I've seen a bunch of people's Dukes break at the legs and stuff like that. So still got to heat up those joints, man. Still got to heat them up. Don't just start flexing them. But I don't know. This is just some stuff I wanted to talk about because, like I said, it's stuff I haven't talked about, haven't really discussed. And I know that a lot of you are G.I. Joe fans, and I'm not just doing this because, you know, to please everybody, but I'm doing it because I want to talk about it too. You know, I do it for you guys and I do it for myself as well. I still can't get it right. God. Oh man. Still can't get it right. Still can't get that right, can you? You can't. Yeah, no, you can't do it. I don't know how many people bought this version of him. I was like, I'm good. I got the one, and I don't need another. I just no. What's everybody's opinion on his tattoo? I just try to 86 it out of my brain whenever I see it. Promo photo face sculpt, I like a lot. I wish he had a second head sculpt with a camo face. Yeah, me too. I agree. Let's see. The gun was the best part for me. This Dusty is a bit of a disappointment for me. I'm sorry, I'm reading ahead of myself. The gun was the best part for me. This Dusty was a bit of a disappointment for me out of all the upcoming figures. I did pre-order him though. I mean, if you're not happy with something, don't pre-order it, man. Don't get that. You know, don't have that FOMO. FOMO it's a thing that's, you know, letting people control their wallets. You know, don't. If it's okay sometimes to let that shit go. You know, if you don't like it, let it go. Need gloves instead of bare hands too. Yeah, I agree. Which means if I do get one down the line, I'm going to want to replace the hands with gloved hands, and I'm going to end up grabbing an extra Duke or something and painting his hands. Hey, Mr. ODC, I thought at one time you said you would not be going to dive into 6-inch Joes. I did, absolutely. And I'll be accountable for that. Absolutely. Yeah, I did say I did not want to dive into 6-inch Joes. I haven't dove into them. I did not dive, into them entirely. Like, I haven't gotten every single figure. I get the characters that mean something to me, and that's about it. And then I move on. I don't have all the vehicles, and I don't have all this and that and the other thing. But I have the ones that were meaningful to me growing up, and that's about it. So I'm very much cherry picking out of here. But yeah, initially when the line was launched, I said, yeah, I'm good. And I did for a very long time. I didn't buy any until, what was it, last year? I think when I was in Seattle, visiting one of me and my girlfriend were just visiting her brother. I ended up finding Major Blood there, and I was like, you know what? This is a really good looking figure. I got to be honest with you. What was it? Duke was actually sent to me by a subscriber. So, you know, there's that. I didn't purchase Duke, and I did a review on him. So I didn't even purchase Duke. What was it? He's a good figure. I think Duke's a really good figure. He's one of my top favorite G.I. Joe characters. I had to fix him with a lot of the Gridiron Studios offerings, so I had to give him some stuff to make him look the way I wanted him to look, including a sidearm, including a rifle, including a helmet, which wasn't given. I don't know why. I didn't mind the futuristic look for him. That never bothered me one bit. And I don't know. But yeah, initially I did. So I take full accountability for what I said I was going to do. But, opinions change, minds evolve. I wish he had come with Sandstorm, his Coyote from the later iterations. I bet you they'll redo a later iteration down the line with Sandstorm, because they're already doing Timber, and they've now released Timber twice. And if they're going to want to get as much out of that mold as possible, I promise you they'll do a Sandstorm. They might scale it down a little bit because, he's a Coyote. Coyote is supposed to be smaller than a wolf. Hopefully they do that properly. But Bazooka looks great in my opinion. Looking forward to him. Yeah, I like Bazooka. I think he looks good too. Gung Ho's head is oversized. It is a huge head. I mean, at least they went the bald version. I would say if I had the choice, because they pulled this shit way later. This is definitely the more retro way. I don't know. Something about the newer one, besides its shitty ass tattoo he's got. The newer one just kind of, I don't know. Maybe they just need to go back and redo him. They might need to do that. It's kind of the shits. Let's take a look at Lady J, see if they did anything with her that's different. Lady J's not too bad. Her face sculpt looks like weird. I don't know. Her face sculpt is super weird looking. I just don't like the whole removable hair thing. It's just friggin' weird to me, I will say, there's not too much of a difference here between her original release and this. It's just retro carded and different paint apps. Maybe people want the lighter paint apps. Personally, I don't give a shit about anything about that. But Gung Ho needs a Marine tat. Yes, he does. That's mostly why I'm like, just pass on him. He definitely does need a Marine tat. Has Hasbro not been able to get the okay to use it? I mean, I think it's pretty much fair game. I mean, I've seen Marine logos. I mean, friggin' Marauders uses Marine logos. Like, if Marauders can do it, what's the difference? I don't know. I feel like Hasbro is choosing not to use the Marine logo because they don't want to be associated with modern military. I think that's the case because the vintage figure had it. The 50th anniversary figure had it. A bunch of figures have had it throughout the years of being Gung Ho. And tons of other toy lines have used the Marine logo. I just think they don't want him to be a Marine. And they even changed his backstory to him not being a Marine. And I'm like, what? You changed the one guy that should always be a Marine into not being a Marine? That makes no sense. Just because you don't want to put a Marine tattoo on his chest. It's just idiotic corporate way of thinking. So I don't think they had to get the okay from the Marines. I think they're just being ridiculous. Major Blood is a knockout of the park, in my opinion. Redeco Duke as well. Yeah, I have the Redeco Duke. I did get him because I thought it is a better deco for him. I don't mind the orange one. I use them for all my size comparisons and videos. But my on-shelf version is that redeco. I just like it a little bit better, and all I had to really do was paint the damn gloves and a couple little other things. But there are subtle differences that do, I think, make a difference a little bit. My biggest gripe with the classifieds line is the inconsistencies with all the figure joints. Some move smoothly and some move to be ratcheted and pop in place. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I got stress marks during my review of Spirit, and I was like, oh god, this figure is gonna freaking break on me. So he just kind of just stands now because I feel like if I move his leg, even if I after I heat it up, the stress is going to get worse, and then snap goodbye Caputi. So he can't do much now. He's pretty much just. I'm gonna have to wait for a backup for him once he's officially released. You know how that goes. Gung Ho is too tall / big in general. He was never roadblock sized. Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't mind it too much as far as size goes for, a guy like Gung Ho, because I always kind of pictured him being like a bigger dude. And oh wait, I still have to talk about somebody else too. And for some reason he is not on here, so we'll have to find him. Let's see. Maybe he's on this Twitter. Maybe I can get away with a thing here. Kamakura was also a thing. I don't care about Ninja Force. I never cared about Kamakura. I just don't care. If you want my quick retrospective on this figure, it's another ninja character that I don't necessarily really care that much about. So he's a pass for me. That's an easy one. I was like, oh, I'll save money there. Let me see if I can find the Sergeant Slaughter digital rendering. I know Preternity is a really good spot to hang out and talk or look at figures and stuff like that. Oh my god, look at that overkill. God, McFarlane is so good. Look at this. Look at that. Just look at it. Would you just look at it? Damn. His Spawn figures, man, I'm telling you, they are top friggin' notch. Look at this. The bloody version of Clown is out there. It's just sick. Oh my god, McFarlane does such a good job. All right, come on. Where are you? Can't be that far back because where are you? Let's see. Where did you go? Oh, the friggin' nodes are available. Pre-order. I don't know if anybody's getting the nodes, but I definitely want to. I'm probably going to get them. Let's see. Come on. Where are you? Obi-Wan Kenobi figure, he looks all right. Yeah, these figures cost too much to have breaking issues, especially when you're just posing them for a photo or display. Little kids would have destroyed these figures. Oh my god, yeah, it's totally true. It is. It's like they're not even made for kids anymore. They're made for like the lightest touching adult collector. Accessories are different. Okay. Thanks, Woodman. S. Myers, sorry. S. Myers is his mind, or my mind works like this. It works backwards sometimes. S. Myers was nice enough to actually donate me the original Duke that I shot the review of. So thank you very much, S. Myers. I appreciate you. It just popped in my head. Sometimes I can't think of something and it just pops in my head. I'm trying to think of his name and I'm like, what? I can't think of his name. But shout out to my boy S. Myers for the hookup. Yes, they look great, but I'm so glad I'm not into that whole yeah. Yeah, I feel you there. All right. I gotta find this damn Sergeant Slaughter. Because I'm pretty sure he's reusing legs from Gung Ho. And I wouldn't half be surprised. And I'm gonna compare it to see if it is a new upper torso. I want to say they wouldn't be that dumb. I should just Google this because this is taking way too long. All right, I'm gonna have to do that. Okay, so actually, you know what? I'll leave that photo right there. And I do have this Roadblock. I think he's a really good Roadblock. All right, so we'll go over here and we'll do. Here we go. Oops. All right, here we go. It literally could have taken me half the time to do what I was just doing. Such an idiot. I'm such an idiot sometimes. All right, so let's get this up and going. All right, and zoom in here. There we go. Okay, that is not what I wanted, but okay. Oh, yep. Yeah, nope. Inspect. What the hell is this? Oh my good lord! All right, so over here we've got Sarge. I'm trying to. I wish I could zoom in. Let's get a better photo than this. This is too small. I want to be able to zoom in here, and this is just not. It's not working. It's not working for me. Oops! I should have got rid of that. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we'll go with. Let's see if that's any bigger. This might be bigger. Hopefully it is. And it's teensy. Great. Bear with me here. Bear with me. I promise. I'll get it. I'll get it right. Oh, for Pete's sake. All right. We'll just go back to this for now. We'll just stick here. All right. So let's get rid of that. And now I'm trying to see here. I don't think I want to say the collar looks a little bit. Oh no, that looks pretty similar. So I'm trying to see if this is just the upper torso of Roadblock. And I have almost half a mind to go get my Roadblock and just take a look. Now, granted, this is a digital rendering. I know for a fact that the hat on him is removable. The sunglasses are removable, and the whistle is removable. I don't know if he comes with just these fist hands, which would kind of annoy the shit out of me if he does, or if he comes with his baton, or what he's coming with. Now, I guess the fist hands won't bother me too much, but I feel like he should have gloved hands. I don't know. Maybe I'm just whenever I think of Sarge, I think of gloved hands, but he does sometimes not have gloved hands. I'd prefer black gloves for him. That's just me, maybe. But something about like the legs, I'm pretty sure that these are at least from the thigh to the knee. They might not be a new sculpt. I'm guessing here, and I could probably be proven wrong. I might be wrong. Take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Ooh, this might be a closer photo. So let me compare that. I think it is the same upper torso. It looks very similar. I'm looking at the clavicle here, right here. I know I'm being ridiculous right now, but looking at the clavicle here, this is so stupid. Um, but I'm looking at Roadblock here, and he does have the same butterfly joints. Butterfly joint, clavicle. clavicle. The only thing I'm seeing that's not there is the neck joint, but this is a digital rendering, excuse me. So it might just not be there for now for the digital rendering. But to me, this looks like the friggin' Roadblock upper torso and the Gung Ho lower torso. And it looks like painted on boots. That's what this looks like to me. This looks like a complete reuse. And it looks like Hasbro didn't have an inkling of doing a Sergeant Slaughter, maybe until they realized that they were losing out on sales, and Action Force was, making a lot of sales for Sarge. I'm not saying he's pushing the whole line, because, if you look at what's the most rare for especially Action Force, it's mostly army builders. But what I'm saying is solely that this looks like a friggin' reuse, except for the boots. So I don't know. Maybe the boots were used from somebody else. I don't know. But this looks like a Frankenstein right here. I could be wrong. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I'm just going from what I see initially. Now, granted, like I said, digital rendering. Kamakura actually loved. Kamakura, I actually loved from his introduction story. He is the stepson of Fred CG. Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely know his story. I just never really gave that much of a crap about Kamakura, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. People have issues with Sarge. Some say the torso is too built. Others love it. I mean, Sarge is supposed to be jacked. Like, you see him in the cartoon, that dude is all upper torso. Like, let me just bring up a friggin' photo of Sarge in the cartoon, for God's sake. I mean, look at dude. Dude is all upper torso. He is Muscles McGee. Look at this. He's got like bigger arms than Hulk Hogan. And if you compare Sarge in real life, like, Sarge was never built like this. Like, he was not this ripped, jacked ass dude. He was like kind of flabby a little bit. And you're talking to a wrestling fan. I've been watching wrestling for over 35 years. So I know ins and outs, everything. You could ask me anything about wrestling. I'll tell you anything you need to know. I promise you. But, Sarge, I don't mind Sarge being jacked with upper torso. But, I just don't want those reused legs from Gung Ho. No, thank you, personally. It would just be nice to get an all new sculpt for him. He's a very popular character, regardless of whatever. I love Sarge. I loved him as a heel wrestler. I think he was a great heel wrestler for the early 90s. 91 going into pretty much all of 91, 90 going. Wait, no, it was 91. End of 90 into 91, and then WrestleMania 91. So he better come with two gripping hands and pointing hand with a baton. Yeah, that's what he should come with, because Sarge is a very simplistic guy. And give him the itty ditty bag. Give him that. Give him the bag, damn it. Andy says, yeah, this looks like they got scared by Action Force. Yeah, it does. I mean, it does. I mean, Action Force literally just released two versions of Sarge. And they're like, oh shit, well, we're losing out on sales. Let's hurry up and get a digital rendering going, which won't be released, until 2024. That's how they do pre-orders now. To be released in 2024, and then you get it 6 months later. He's a wrestling encyclopedia. That's what I've been told by Bret Hart, that I'm a wrestling encyclopedia. I have the proof and the photo and footage to back that up, by the way. I forgot about the bag. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the itty ditty bag. I mean, look at this artwork right here, which is really awesome artwork. Look how ripped this motherfucker is. Good Lord. Holy shit. He's got this little peanut head, and he's got these big old, like, he'd make the Rock run away. And he's just shredding a friggin' bat by himself. Like, there's a reason why they used this guy's DNA to help create Serpentor. Like, dude's he's like you know what he is? He's like Josh Allen. He's freaking Josh Allen of G.I. Joe. That's what he is. Dude can do it all. He can pass the ball. He can run the ball. He can truck people. He can stiff arm people. He's fast. He can friggin' hurdle dudes. Dude's just got it all. Look at this. That's right. Whoop his ass. Whoop his ass. I'm sorry. I just couldn't help it. And to those of look, even his stature in the cartoon. He's essentially the same height as Hawk here. He doesn't tower over anybody really that much. Like here, it's just point of view. This is point of view for Falcon. He looks huge. And then you get to it and it's like, oh, he's like the same size as Hawk, maybe a little bit taller. Just a little bit. But, perspective. It's always perspective. Which brings me into my last point, which will be my closing point for all of this. Look at here, right here. Perfect example of perspective. They're in the background, they look smaller. He's in the foreground, he looks big. And then you look at Falcon. Falcon's not, he's not, a skinny little a bitch or anything like that. He's still a bigger dude. Like they all look like big jacked up dudes. But Sarge is is the closest to the camera. They want to make him seem bigger than life, larger than life. So, but then again, next to Hawk, he's almost the same. Over here with Falcon, like you see him. And some people were complaining about Action Force's height for, Action Force's height for the figure. And I'm like, yeah, no, Sarge, he's not 8 feet tall, dude. Like, in real life, he's like 6'4", I think. I think he's like 6'4". I've met Sarge a bunch of times. I'm 6'1", and he's not that much taller than me. And wrestling always usually, pads those height and weight stats. But I mean, here's Sarge back in the day. I mean, he's not this built, jacked up dude. Look, here's Sarge in like one of his, like, look, he's kind of flabby, he's not jacked. They made him that way to make him seem larger than life. So, and even in his AWA days, like going back to those days, like here, I'll just show you. He was never like a ripped ass dude. See, look, he's just kind of normal dude. So there you go. Perspective, like I said, perspective. Big dude with a dad bod. Let me see his official, because I'm pretty sure he's like 6. I think he's only like 6'3" or 6'4". here. And oh no, he's larger than I thought. Okay, so he's 6'6". So I feel like when I met him though, like he wasn't that much taller than me. Like Strident's taller than me, like significantly. But I don't know. That might be padded a little bit. I feel like he was more like 6'4", but we're talking, nitpicks here. No, you see him against Randy Orton. Okay, so Randy is like 6'4", 6'5", and he's shorter than Randy. So Randy's not 6'6". That I know for a fact. I think Randy at the most is 6'5", and he's looking up to Randy Orton here. So I don't know how I went off on a tangent here, but anyway, my thought process with this toy line is this in closing. Okay. Personally, this toy line is kind of like it's like a mixed bag. It's kind of like a weird, it's kind of got an identity crisis. Like it doesn't know what exactly it wants to be. Like when it initially started out, it wanted to be this like, oh, we're going to update G.I. Joe with a little bit of the classic look, but with updated weapons and updated looks. And we'll give them a little bit of future tech, but not too much future tech, just modern stuff, maybe a little bit updated from modern. And I had no problem with it. And then the usual suspects started complaining about a lot of stuff. And now we're kind of getting this weird, like, we don't know if we want to be modern or if we want to be vintage. Sometimes characters look vintage. Other times they look modern. Well, they don't. It doesn't seem like they have a good grasp on what they want to do, because I don't think they have a grasp on what people want. And it goes back to the point of, I don't think Hasbro, and I know for a fact Hasbro is not hiring people that are fans. I know that for a fact. They'll hire designers, but they're told to design a certain thing. Like, you just go ahead and do this design, and then we'll get final approval. People that do final approval, they're not fans. They're there to make money. And I think a lot of people that were shown the door, guys like, and I'm just using examples of like guys like Dave Vonner, guys like Bobby Valla, guys like, and I'm not saying they got fired. I'm just saying whether they left on their own regard or whatever, they're no longer with the company. When you start losing people like that, or you start shifting people that are passionate about something, like a Steve Evans off of the Black Series, and now he's doing Marvel Legends, you see more care going into Marvel Legends, and now you're seeing the difference in the Black Series going down. You start to see those shifts when they had initially the right people in the right places, and they either let them go, or they fired them, or they switched them to another brand or whatever. You see these issues happening constantly. You see identity crises happening with toy lines. And granted, these are just toys. Like, the first world problem, who gives a shit, right? But in that same token, this is all stuff that we enjoy, we like, we care about. If we didn't care about it, I wouldn't be here talking about it. It wouldn't matter. It'd be a moot point, and I'd be moving on watching football all day or whatever. Playing video games, who knows? But my point is, if you have someone that has passion and has the correct direction and sticks to their guns, if this toy line were up to me, we all know what direction I would go. But, like, even the layout for the waves would be completely different. I would stick to the same pattern as Marvel Legends would if I were trying to make this successful. Instead of doing 3-4 figures a wave we don't even have technically waves. I mean, we don't even look at how modern figures have become. If you go on Big Bad Toy Store, you can't buy a full wave of figures unless it's an older wave from like last year. You're starting to notice that they're selling figures separately. They're jacking up the price, and there's a reason for that. Like maybe you can go on Dorkside, or maybe you can go on like Entertainment Earth, and they might have a whole wave to sell you. But I think a lot of it has to do with marketing, and that's we don't want people to see the extravagant price that they're going to spend on a whole wave, so we won't put them together. We're going to separate them. And if we separate them, people won't pay attention to how much money that they're spending by just seeing a $25 or $27 price point. To me, action figure waves consist of 5 to 6. That makes a whole wave. 4 is not a wave. That's just 4 figures. 3 is not a wave. That's not a wave of figures. A wave is, like I said, 5 or 6. Okay? And they have to mean something. Now, this is the way I would do it personally. The way I would do it, which no one will care to ever hear what I have to do because who gives a shit? You know, just a guy with a microphone. But the way I would do it is I would do 6 figures every wave, regardless of, you know, well, we don't know if the brand is that strong. If you don't think the brand is that strong, then why are we creating a toy line anyway? You might as well just let G.I. Joe die if that's the case. So people with that argument doesn't hold water. But the way I would do it is this: 6 figures each wave, and I'm doing modern figures for 4 of those figures, and then the other 2 are going to be retro. I'm going to go the same kind of formula as Mattel has done with their WWE figures. Mattel has had that line since 2008, 9-ish. We'll just call it 2009. It's been a very successful line. Granted, it's had some growing pains throughout the years, but regardless, a lot of their waves did make sense. They would always give you modern characters for your regular modern roster, and then they gave you flashback figures. And this way, if you're doing a flashback figure or a retro figure, you're scratching that itch for the people that want only retro. And you're scratching the itch for people that want G.I. Joe to evolve. G.I. Joe needs to evolve into modern G.I. Joe. Like it needs to. If anything, you should go with some of the comics. Like if you wanted to go with like the early 2000s looks, stuff like that, you could do that too. If you want to mix that in with some of the exclusives that you would do. Now, this is the other thing about exclusives. Exclusives are kind of like, they're always going to be a thing. Okay. If you're Hasbro, and if I'm working for Hasbro and I have to make decisions for this toy line, they're going to have to do it. So an easy way to do that and make everybody happy, because I'm a fan and I understand this, would be to okay, Target, Walmart, you want exclusives? Sure, you got it. You get Tiger Force, and one gets Tiger Force and one gets Python Patrol. Go for it. Those are niche things that should be exclusive, because there's a very small percentage of people that want Tiger Force and Python Patrol. Most people just want the natural, regular look for their characters. Those exclusives that probably won't be made as many, you get those. That's what you get, Target and Walmart. You don't get any more. You don't get any less. That's what you will get. You will get essential repaints. Okay? They'll stock the regular stuff and they'll get their repaints. This makes them happy. It makes the collector happy. And it gives the collector the option to either go get it or don't. Okay? Online exclusives is where I would dive into the comics. You see it with the Lightning Collection all the time. They've been filtering in a lot of like Lord Draken and the Pink Ranger Slayer or Pink Ranger Slayer, stuff like that from the comics that people enjoy. And Power Rangers is more of a niche than anything, especially their comics. They've been trickling that in. If Power Rangers can do it, no reason why G.I. Joe can't do it. Absolutely no reason why G.I. Joe can do it. They're just as small of a market as Power Rangers is. Okay. So no reason why they can't do it. That's what I would do online, fan channel, whatever stupid, cute corporate name they want to give it. Fine. Go for it. Fan channel exclusive. Your Big Bad Toy Stores, your Dork Sides, your Entertainment Earths, and those are exclusives that are usually readily available. So it's a lot easier for people to obtain those. So if you don't want them, yet again, you don't have to get them. You could trickle in some retro ones in there too. Yet again, readily available. You'll be able to get them. The regular retail stuff, it's going to be, like I said, 6 figures each wave. You do 3 waves a year. You don't overdo it with people. Or hell, you just make it simpler. You could do 2 waves a year. That's 12 figures a year. That's more than enough. It's not killing your pocket, especially if you have to stick with the stupid prices that Hasbro's going with right now. And you call it the day. And it's just that simple. But there's no thought process behind it. It's we're doing 3 figures a wave, and then they're coming out next year, and then they end up coming out next month, and then it's just all over the place. There's no direction. There's no thought process behind it. It's just do things willy-nilly and throw out random retro figures out of nowhere with card backs that no one asked for. It's just, I don't know. It's just, a lot of it just makes no sense. So that's personally how I would handle it. Now with vehicles and stuff like that, with 6-inch figures, it's a tough cookie to crumble, because the reason why I say that is because like you see, like, I know some people are like looking at, well, look at the Black Series. They did a friggin' snow speeder and a TIE fighter and whatever. They did a bunch of the land speeder and a bunch of other stuff. Enfys Nest friggin' swoop bike, whatever you want to call it. They did a bunch of different vehicle products, and those were pretty successful for the most part. The TIE Fighter wasn't all that successful. I'll be honest with you. I was working at Toys R Us when that TIE Fighter came out, and we had like 6 or 7 of them, and they were just sitting there. We had finally had to clearance them for like $75. But beyond that, and I even saw a couple Targets that were trying to get rid of those for like $50 a piece. They did not sell well, but especially with G.I. Joe, you got to stick smaller. So the route they're actually going with the vehicles is smart. Trickle a couple in. Now, I don't like the repaint of the whole, Duke with the cycle. I don't like the repaint. It wasn't originally a part of Tiger Force, that repaint for the Ram cycle, and I just wasn't a big fan of it. Doesn't look right. But vehicles that do make sense are like the Vamp, and I would do like the Pursuit of Cobra Vamp. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll bring it up right now for you. It's one of my favorites as far as either the 30th anniversary, whether you go 30th anniversary or you go Pursuit of Cobra. This is an absolute fantastic. Or you could even go with the zombie one, which had doors that would swing up and down. You could also go with the Ninja Combat Cruiser, which was essentially this, but like greenish teal, kind of turquoise-ish. Personally, I would just go with this. This would be, or maybe the green one. I do like the green one quite a bit. Green or this, whatever color, whatever we're doing here. This is what I would come out with. That would have been the first thing that I came out with as far as a vehicle goes. This way, you're setting the precedent of we're sticking with modern G.I. Joe. Yeah, we'll trickle in some vintage stuff, like a vintage vamp can be done down the road. Sure, down the road. But if we're sticking with new concepts, new stuff like that, I'm not saying I'm going to come out with the exact same vamp as this, but something along those lines. Doesn't have to be directly the same vamp, but something along those lines makes sense. It's got to look a little bit different. The same old vamp, it gets kind of like, okay, and this you can fit five, six, seven, 8 figures on this. You know, if we're just going simplistic, 5. 4 in the seats, 1 on the gun turret in the back. All the wheels were removable. You could take those off, the one on the back off, interchange them. So if you had like wanted to simulate a flat tire or something like that, it had a working winch on the front, guns attachments, missile attachment, and a big old Gatling gun with removable chain and everything. Like, it's just a fantastic looking design. I would go something along these lines of that vamp. I'd probably throw some doors on it, so it'd probably look something a little bit more closer to this without rocket launchers. It would go with that Gatling gun. I think that made a little bit more sense as far as functionality, because once you shoot these missiles off, that's like this is essentially useless after that, unless you have more missiles. Ram cycle, sure, go vintage, that's fine. A bunch of other vehicles that you could do. You could probably get away with a trouble bubble. You could probably get away with one of those because that's essentially a one-seater person type thing. I never have a problem with Cobra looking a little bit more futuristic. Like I said, they should be more of that futuristic sci-fi element to them. That's why I've never interchanged any of one of my classifieds guns. I kept them the same. So because it just fits that aesthetic of Cobra being a little bit more funky. Unless there's a couple characters that maybe it doesn't fit for them, like if they ever do a Shadow Tracker, which I'll piss my pants over. I think it makes more sense for them to just go the same route that they did with Pursuit of Cobra, kind of keep it, edged bladed weapons, bows, arrows, capture net, stuff like that. But there's a bunch of different ideas. I mean, back then they even reinvented the what you call it. Just go. Visual Rise of Cobra. They with Rise of Cobra, which is a very underrated toy line, they reinvented the Night Raven. This was a really good design for the Night Raven. It seated one person. I think it made more sense as far as wanting to army build these. They're a one-seater. That's fine. It's futuristic looking enough where it doesn't fit in with, it looks like a friggin' concept plane from the like, look at this thing. It looks like a friggin' crazy concept plane from the future. If you did something like this in 6-inch, it would be massive. It would have to be, oh man, you couldn't do the original because the original was huge on its own. Like, this thing was, I still have mine. It's enormous. And then it would just cost too much to make, to be honest with you. This would probably even just cost too much to make. Like, it would probably cost people like $250 to get this version. Like, this would cost like $300 or some crazy shit like that. A HISS tank definitely could be a thing. I personally like this version or the aesthetic that I would go for. Now, I know a lot of people don't like this. Personally, I loved this version. This is my favorite version for the Hiss tank. This one and that funky looking one from the early 2000s or mid 2000s where it looked like a friggin', I'll just show you this one. It looked like Cobra La mixed with tech. That's what it looked like Mars Industries merged with Cobra La, and this thing exists now. And it looks friggin' scary, like it's got fangs and it's gonna open up and it would actually open up the front and could friggin' bite you or something. But this is essentially like, look at this thing. It's friggin' crazy looking. But that would be the concept I would go with for Cobra. Something between this, okay, and this. Something in between that as far as the concept goes. Like I said, this is one of my favorite designs for the Hiss tank. This is the one with the plastic treads, not the moving treads from Pursuit of Cobra. The moving treads, I have that one, and every day I see those rubber treads, I'm like, oh, it's only a matter of time before those rubber treads just break down and fall apart, and then I'm stuck. Here's the one with the moving treads, and this is a really good one. It's similar to the Retaliation one, but a little bit different of design. But still, like, yet again, something like that. Even something like this would be cool. You make it smaller, more compact. Make it a one-seater. You don't have to make it a two-seater. You just have automatic guns on top. Make it a one-seater. You could make this work for a 6-inch line. That could absolutely work. So, Hiss tank version 5 is your favorite? Is that I like version 2 quite a bit as well. Version 2 looks really good. 5, I think 5 is this one, isn't it? Pretty sure it is. Is this 5 or is this 4? I don't know, but I like this one too. This was released with that San Diego Comic-Con Transformer mix and mash thing. But I really like this concept for a Hiss tank if you're going to go with one for a 6-inch line. One-seater, make it small, maneuverable. I really like that quite a bit. So that's the route I would go with that. And then you could do the coup de grace for now, which would be oops, rid of that. Could do the Mauler and get away with it. I think even if you just I think you could get away with a Mauler. It's not too big. I would have to update the Mauler. Obviously, it's not going to look like this. It would look. Let's see. Let's go with. See if I see anything that tickles my fancy here. See, like this, like something. It almost looks like freaking something out of Metal Slug. And this is sick. That would be a sick ass his tank. Look at these treads in the front. Oh my god, it looks gnarly. That looks awesome. I like this for a Mauler though. So you've got battle stations over here. You've got a battle station there. Here with cover, if you see that. Then you've got another gunner here, a gunner there. I mean, this thing, there's the driver right there. I mean, this thing is pretty sick. Hasbro would charge $300 for a Mauler. Oh yeah, of course they would. Of course they would. Of course they would. They're, they're in it to make money. Especially something that this would be rather large. If these are 6-inch figures and they're that small, it would be large. But I mean, you could go a different route, and you could go. Let's see. But I really like this concept, though. Right here, you could go something like this for a Mauler too. Or this. And then there's a Wolverine right there. But definitely like up the ante and make it a little bit not like too crazy futuristic. You don't want it to look like friggin' Star Wars or anything like that. You want it to look just like oh, okay, I could see that being on like a battlefield in reality. We don't want hover tanks. We don't need all that nonsense. If you're gonna do a hover tank, then do it for like Cobra or something, But I don't know. These are just thoughts, little ideas that I've had about stuff like that. Like these are not my concepts at all. I'm just like looking shit up. But this would make sense for like the Wolverine, I think. If you had like 2 missile launchers on both sides, you almost make it like an APC. Or you could just do like an APC, but that would have to be humongous for 6-inch. That would just be entirely too large. If that were like 3 3/4 inch, that would work perfectly. This is why I miss 3 3/4 inch stuff, because there's so many things. Like if you saw this concept for a 3 3/4 inch tank, you would want that. This is why I'm telling you, man. The only thing that could save GI Joe 3 3/4 inch is if the Star Wars Vintage Collection continues the sales that it's doing, because I think it's outselling the 6-inch line. I think it's starting to, at least. If it starts to outsell it, they might start thinking, hey, maybe we should do this 3 3/4 thing over here. Because 6-inch stuff is very limited when it comes to what you can do, But this would be the coup de grace. This would be like the big thing. You could get away with like a Dragonfly, I guess, because it's a smaller. It would be a smaller helicopter, but I don't know. I think I've gone on long enough now. Let me just see what everybody's saying. I'm digging it. That Resolute one looks dope. Yeah, that thing would be here. What would be? Those are cool future versions. Yep. The Armadillo with the updated turret. Yeah, absolutely. Star Wars Vintage has people that care in it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you watch, Greg. They're gonna, I guarantee, sooner before later, they will pull whoever is on that vintage line that gives a shit, and they'll put them on some other line, like freaking, I don't know, to put them on like Operation or some shit. It's probably like a Milton Bradley thing, but they'll put them on like Fortnite figures or something like that. Oh, you care too much. Now you go here. You go to Fortnite. You. Thank you, casual critic. You have a good night, buddy. Appreciate you. But I think I will drop it here. I have been going on long enough. I started this stream at what, 9? I had a couple bumps in the road. Sorry for any of you who joined me earlier. I had audio issues, and it was really my fault because I didn't know I had to do a thing, and I did the thing, and it wasn't working. So it was totally on me. I take full responsibility for the screw up earlier with the audio and everything, but I don't know. Maybe I'll come back with another one of these, like just discussing toy brands and what I would do differently. Maybe we can discuss Transformers one day, and we can do Star Wars, and we can do Marvel. Uh, we could do Power Rangers. It's just something else I thought it would be a nice little discussion piece to kind of just shoot the shit about and discuss some of the newer figures that were coming out because I haven't really talked about too much GI Joe lately. I think I needed a GI Joe break, and now I wanted to get this all out of my system. So, um, Ernest figure sold out too. Jesus, what does she even come with? That's different. Oh my god, I got a case of the yawns, which means I'm dehydrated like crazy. Okay, so she comes with a different rifle. Let's see, yeah, different. Looks like a newly sculpted rifle. As I need to take a sip. Newly sculpted rifle. Same gun belt. Same head as the, which I think is funny that people decided to go with this over, people wanted that over the friggin' cycle that's still available, just chilling. I mean, this one comes with the helmet. She still comes with like guns and stuff. I think yeah. Well, I mean, they're gold, but who gives a shit? Yeah, it's the same one. And she comes with that dagger. That's right. Forgot about that. But I mean, most people didn't care about gold weapons because of Destro. When they start diving into some of the Iron Grenadiers and stuff like that, see now the Iron Grenadiers. Now let me really go off on a tangent here for a second. For just a second. I promise it won't be too long. Oh boy. Oh yeah. This is one of the best friggin' GI Joe designs for Cobra Trooper I've ever seen. There you go. That's all they need to do. I just made them millions of dollars right there. That's literally all they have to do is do that design in 6-inch form, and it'll sell like crazy. Removable armor for the shins, removable armor for the shoulder. Call it a day, man. It's just that simple. But, they probably won't do that. They'll probably go the old vintage route, and we'll end up with this. Whoa, that was my dog. I have many dogs near me right now. We will probably end up with this nonsense again. Where is it? We'll probably end up with this. This is probably realistically what we're going to get in 6-inch form. I don't think they have the balls enough to do this. So this would make sense. This is status quo. Status quo. Growing a set of balls. Balls. No balls. And you can't, I mean, even the purists out there that are like, oh, the vintage one, the vintage one, the vintage one. Like if you literally compare like this design to this design, there is zero comparison. This design is, I mean, and he's posable too. Like you can, I have posed this figure. I have probably about a half a dozen of these, and I have posed this figure with him holding that gun without a display stand. So I don't even want to hear this nonsense of you can't pose it without a display stand. You know, because you can. Oh, you can. One's more ceremonial, one's in field. Yeah, sure. But like, what's the at that point? Like, what's the point of having a ceremonial? Like, like if this was coming at me on the field, like I'd be like, bro, you got spandex on. Like, what are you doing here? You got some tight ass pants going on. Like if this was staring at me, well, that's a custom. If this is staring at me, I'll be like, oh shit. Holy shit. So I don't know. We'll see what happens though. Who knows? I mean, I guess you could get away with the ceremonial. I feel you, Greg. I feel you. I feel you. You can get away with the ceremonial one, like if you're having like just Destro having bodyguards, and he's essentially just like a dictator. And you could go with this too. Go with a little bit of that. A couple of these. Look at how much this figure goes for. Good Christ. Shit. Major Duncan. Major Dunkin' Donuts. But anyway, I digress. I have gone on long enough. Maybe I'll come back with a list of characters I'd like to see that I have not done yet. I think that would be nice to do. And yeah, I think I'll end it here. Anybody has any other questions or anything like that, comments, concerns, please don't hesitate to go ahead and pop that into the chat really quick, and I'll go ahead and do my best to answer those for you. It had that Wolfenstein look to it. Oh yeah, absolutely. Destro's faction was awesome. Yeah, it is. But yeah, 3 3/4. Oh wait, Greg said 3 3/4 in Star Wars went to crap for me when Clone Wars came out until like 3 years ago when they suddenly woke up, made good sculpts and articulation. Yeah, articulation is really good. Plan one in the future after Joe Fest. I know Action Force will show off their new stuff there. I've been considering going to Joe Fest. I don't know. I was almost considering not going. It is next month. I am kind of starting a new, I shouldn't even say job. It's a career. I'll just say job. I won't be pompous about it. I am starting a new job in a few weeks. I'm going back to Buffalo to like I said, handle some of the older, some of the figures I just don't really want anymore. To be honest with you, I'm gonna try and invest that money into some stuff for the future and making adult decisions. Adulting is basically what I'm doing. So I don't live that far away. I think I live like an hour and a half or 2 hours away from Joe Fest. So I might take a ride down there and maybe just go for like a day or two, just like I did last year. And it was a lot of fun, got to talked to some fellow YouTubers while I was down there, and it was nice to. It was a nice experience. I definitely didn't have a bad experience or anything like that, and people were really nice and stuff like that. Got to go to the Marauders panel. That was really fun, and got to go to a couple other panels like Action Force. Obviously, you guys saw the post I did and everything, and it was just a really nice experience to go and do that. But I don't know. We'll see. I'll try and go. I would like to go. I'm definitely not going to do the whole VIP thing again because the lines weren't really even that long. Last year I did the VIP thing, got to go in like I think it was like an hour earlier, which wasn't that big of a difference. It's a small, more of a intimate setting. I want to say Joe Fest. It's not like Star Wars Celebration or anything like that because there's a lot less GI Joe fans than there are Star Wars fans. It's just the fact of the matter. But if anybody wants to go and they want to do like a meetup or something like that, I'm definitely down. I will definitely let everybody know if I am officially going. I'll probably try and let people know ahead of time. So if you are happening to go down there, maybe you could meet up or something. Am I going to buy the Hiya Toys G.I. Joe when it comes out? I don't know because I haven't seen it. Let me see. What do we have here? Hiya Toys G.I. Joe. Excuse me. Hiya Toys or was it 1000 Toys? I'm confused. Terry, let me know. Buddy. I know nothing about this. I do know that Joy Toy is coming out with some new stuff and holetta. It looks good. I picked up the Boyang, the new Boyang dude. I don't know what his name is officially. Yeah, Hiya Toys. That's weird. Nothing's coming up. Let's see here. Let's go to all instead of going under images. Let's see. It's probably right here, and I'm just not looking at it. All right. Hiya Toys G.I. Joe. Is this going to be... Oh, it's a 1/18 scale. I wonder what that's going to be about. See, now, if Hiya Toys will go more futuristic or more modern, I should say, modern and then more futuristic for Cobra. Let's see what they're going to do. With G.I. Joe, we're releasing a new brand of this new exciting to give fans collectors something we have not had since the mid 1980s. Oh, I wonder what that's very vague. I wonder what that means. Like, are they gonna? They said they're not gonna. They're gonna give us something that they have not got since the mid 1980s. Okay, so does that mean more of the same? More of the same shit? Oh, Terry, look at it. See this guy. I'm with this guy. I'm cautiously optimistic. I hope their fresh designs like Pursuit of Cobra. See, this is refreshing to see. People that actually like can think objectively, can see where the brand needs to go, and not back to the Cold War again. I really doubt it, considering they've referred the 40th anniversary of the brand. Yeah, no, that doesn't mean anything though. Just because they referred to it being the 40th anniversary doesn't mean that they're not going to go a different direction. They literally say new and exciting line, new an exciting line will give fans and action figure collectors something they have not had. Keyword not had since the 1980s. So that does not mean, whoever you are, that they're not going to go a different direction. I suspect an approach similar to the 20th anniversary line. Hasbro's already doing that with the vintage, with the retro figure releases. Why would they do that again? I don't know. Some people are just in their feels, man. I mean, I'm hopeful that they'll do something different. I'm not going to be like, oh God, they didn't do the thing that I wanted them to, because they probably won't do it anyway. But you know, I guess I'm slightly hopeful. I should say that I've reduced down to slightly hopeful. That has nothing to do with that. That's just a render of whatever. But obviously, we're going to get a Snake Eyes. My dog is breathing so heavily. He's such a little puff. You'll keep me up to date on it. Okay, cool. Thanks, Terry. Appreciate it, bro. Let's see what other people are saying. I did not see this coming. You should make a gung ho Marine uniform in a modern figure. Okay. Hiya 1/18 scale is smaller than Hasbro 3 3/4 inch Joes. Well, technically, Hasbro 3 3/4 inch Joes don't even exist anymore. They haven't made 3 3/4 inch. Technically, it would be more 4-inch, especially if you were to. Hopefully, Hiya Toys is scale. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's their company. They don't have to adjust the scale to appease you, Dante. They're not in it to do what you want. That's another thing in the toy industry that it just irks the shit out of me when people are like I get it if you're within the same company, right? So like Hasbro has their scale, right? Their 6-inch figures are usually around the same area. Star Wars is kind of its own thing. It fluctuates, right? Even like the body builds are like slimmer and more accurate to be what they're supposed to be, which is movie accurate, right? Or something close to it. But you look at the other figure lines, like the Lightning Collection looks very similar to a Marvel Legends body, very similar stance and everything like that. But for some reason, as soon as you go outside of Hasbro, for some reason, people are just like, well, why isn't it the same as Hasbro's height? Like McFarlane. I don't have a problem that it's its own scale. I never had a problem that DC Collectibles was its own scale. I never had a problem that, any other toy company is its own scale. Not everything needs to revolve around Hasbro and what the hell they're doing. It does. The world does not revolve around Hasbro, regardless of what you think. It just doesn't. Period. So let variety exist. Not everything needs to be so cookie cutter and the same. Good grief. If Hiya Toys wants to do their own scale, by all means, do your own damn scale. Personally, I don't care. They run smaller, they run smaller. You don't like it, don't buy it. Some people, man, I'm telling you. Like, what was it? Perfect example is Joy Toy. Joy Toys run bigger a little bit bigger than most GI Joes from even Pursuit of Cobra. They run a little bit thicker and sometimes a little bit taller. Even the females are tall as shit. Doesn't ruin the toy line for me. Doesn't, oh my god, the women are so tall. I just can't. It doesn't fit in with Hasbro. Friggin' ridiculous, dude. Hasblowers, that's what I call them. Hasblowers. Anybody that's like just on their knees for Hasbro. The Hasblowers. But I think I'll just I'll end it here. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun to just shoot the shit. I don't know how I still have a voice at this point. I need to drink more water. But this was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for hanging out with me for such a long time. I don't even know how long this has been. Good grief good grief. But yeah, I'm going to try and get another video done. I did have a couple reviews that I wanted to get done, and I wanted to give somebody a shout out for hooking me up, which was, hold on, I have to look it up because I don't want to say the wrong name. Figurama Carolina. You can find him he's got an eBay store. You can check him out. He was nice enough to hook me up with a Death Watch Mandalorian, so expect that review soon. I did want to do some of the G.I. Joe figures that I do have. I haven't done those reviews. I also just recently I've had them for a little bit, but I got the McFarlane Aquaman and Martian Manhunter, and I want to do those reviews together. There's a whole bunch of McFarlane stuff I want to do as well. So that's in the horizon as well, especially when I get back from the homeland of Buffalo, New York, where the Buffalo Bills roam. Anyway, but yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to do all that stuff that you should do if you want to support the channel, stuff like that. You wanted to do the thumbs, go for a thumb. If not, that's cool too. But yeah, if you're watching this on playback, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.